Chapter 378. I'm sorry, Dugufengwu said. Yang Dingtian was startled. He turned around and looked at Dugufengwu's beautiful face. What did you say? Why are you apologizing? Nothing much. I'm just apologizing for what I said to you before. Dugufengwu said, I'm just apologizing for what I did to you before. After that, Dugufengwu moved closer and said softly, Today is our wedding day. You should love me well. No, you better explain to me clearly. What do you mean? Yang Dingtian said coldly. Husband, don't look for that Punisher anymore. It's useless. You will die. Dugufengwu said, In a few days, I will leave this world. Baby will lose his mother. I don't want baby to lose his father as well. After that, Dugufengwu kissed his lips and said with a gentle voice that she had never used before, In these last few days, isn't it good for our family of 3 to be together every day and enjoy the happiness of being a family? Dugufengwu's beauty wasn't inferior to Dongfang Bingling. She was the most beautiful woman in this world. Right now, she was treating him with a gentleness that she had never shown before. In an instant, Yang Dingtian was in a daze and almost couldn't extricate himself. Gritting his teeth, Yang Dingtian pushed Dugufengwu away. He looked into her beautiful eyes and said, Dugufengwu, when you said those heartless words to me before, I always thought that they were fake. I always thought that you just wanted to die alone so that I wouldn't be worried or in pain. Therefore, you pretended to be heartless. Now, I can finally confirm that you are indeed heartless to me. Is this still important? Dugufengwu said, You are my only man. You are the father of my child. Isn't that enough? Perhaps, you think that I was provoked by your words before and wanted to show you that I wanted to make you fall in love with me. That's why I went to the Punisher and risked my life to save you. That's why I wanted to move you and make you fall in love with me. Am I right? Yang Dingtian said. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, but it isn't necessary. Dugufengwu said, I only know that I don't want you to die, and that is enough. I might not die, Yang Dingtian said. He then pushed Dugufengwu away and walked out. Dugufengwu said from behind, Yang Dingtian, your meaningless bravery and impulsiveness will not change anything, not even the image in my heart. Yang Dingtian nodded and said, I know. My image in your mind will probably always be that silly good guy who saved you again and again on the ship and in the secret realm. Yang Dingtian came to Dugu Aoshuang's room. She was singing. Even though the baby was asleep, she still sang softly. Her entire body was still shrouded in a graceful dress, and her face was still covered by a veil. Seeing Yang Dingtian come in, Dugu Aoshuang was slightly stunned. She then said coldly, You shouldn't be here now. You should be in my sister's bridal chamber. Yang Dingtian went forward and sat beside Dugu Aoshuang. He looked lovingly at the baby on the small bed. The baby doesn't like to be too quiet, especially when he's sleeping. He likes a little noise. If there's no noise at all, he will wake up, Dugu Aoshuang said. Yang Dingtian looked at the baby's little face and said, Aoshuang, if I bring the baby back to Cloud Heaven City, will it be cruel? Dugu Aoshuang was slightly stunned. She then said, I don't know. You should be in my sister's room at this time, Dugu Aoshuang said again. No, your sister doesn't like me, so don't make the two of us awkward, Yang Dingtian said. How could she not like you? If she didn't like you, why would she give birth to your child? Dugu Aoshuang said. I didn't understand why she would be like this in the secret realm, even if she killed me immediately afterwards. Yang Dingtian said, Later I understood. She didn't want to lower her head to fate. Her fate was to become the woman of the young master of the Temple of Annihilation. She had never seen the young master of the Temple of Annihilation. She had no feelings for the feelings of men and women. She hated any restrictions. So she gave me her body and killed me. In this way, she felt that she might be able to escape this fate. Of course, she didn't expect that I didn't die. You can't say that about her. She has feelings. She loves the baby very much, Du Guoshuang said. Yang Dingtian smiled and nodded. Then, he said to Aoshuang, I'm sorry. I promised you before that regardless of whether I find a way to restore your appearance or not, I will come to see you. The deadline is within 2 years. Although I didn't break the promise, I didn't come for you this time. Du Guoshuang smiled sadly and said, I'm used to it. Everyone is afraid of me and ignores me. Only the baby now doesn't. Of course, when the baby grows up, he might. Yang Dingtian didn't comfort Du Guoshuang. Instead, he asked, the mistress of the Temple of Blood now isn't your biological mother, right? Du Guoshuang's expression changed slightly. Then, she nodded. Then your biological mother? Yang Dingtian asked. I don't know. Feng Wu doesn't know either. She doesn't even know that this woman isn't our biological mother. Other than practicing martial arts, she isn't interested in anything else, Du Guoshuang said. Oh right, don't mention this to my father. Otherwise, he will really kill you. I only found out about this by chance. Yang Dingtian went forward and was about to lift Du Guoshuang's veil. Du Guoshuang struggled slightly and said, don't do this. We are no longer related. You are my brother-in-law. Yang Dingtian ignored her. Instead, he lifted her veil and revealed Du Guoshuang's true face. There were still fine scales on her face. Her face and facial features were almost exactly the same as Du Guoshuang's. She was extremely beautiful and was a masterpiece of the heavens. But the scales that covered her made everyone shrink back. If I say that this is the most precious treasure that the heavens have given you, what would you think? Yang Dingtian asked. I won't be able to resist giving you a slap, Du Guoshuang said. But the truth might be so. Yang Dingtian said, Aoshuang, I will touch your body next and check your Xian meridians and Qi Si. Is that okay? Up to you, as long as you don't get scared, Du Guoshuang said as she closed her eyes. Then, she laughed at herself and said, you are acting so courteous and polite. It makes me feel ironic. You know that I. Du Guoshuang didn't finish her sentence. Yang Dingtian lifted Du Guoshuang's skirt and extended his hand to her Qi Si. Instantly, Du Guoshuang shuddered slightly and her breathing became hurried. Yang Dingtian, I am warning you. If you don't want me, don't provoke me. Du Guoshuang said, I am not as heartless as Du Fengwu. I am an extremely inferior woman. My love is extremely crazy and will burn everything. Yang Dingtian didn't bother about her. He closed his eyes and poured in some Xian Qi and the thousands of resentful spirits in the million spirit demon flames. Instantly, Yang Dingtian's Xian Qi circulated to every corner of Du Guoshuang's Xian meridians. Finally, it rushed into her Qi Si. Yang Dingtian increased his Xian Qi and attacked her Xian meridians and Qi Si. Does it hurt? Yang Dingtian asked. It doesn't hurt, Du Guoshuang said. Yang Dingtian continued to increase his Xian Qi to the martial ancestor realm and attacked Du Guoshuang's Xian meridians and Xian Qi. Does it hurt? Yang Dingtian asked. It doesn't hurt, Du Guoshuang said. Yang Dingtian increased his Xian Qi to the martial supreme realm and attacked her Xian meridians and Qi Si. Does it hurt? Yang Dingtian asked. I feel a little, but it doesn't hurt, Du Guoshuang said. Yang Dingtian immediately circulated his Xian Qi to the extremity and used the Xian flame's energy to attack her Xian meridians and Qi Si. Does it hurt? Yang Dingtian asked. It doesn't hurt. Du Fengwu's breathing was hurried as she said, but if you continue, I might fall for you. Yang Dingtian could clearly feel that his palms suddenly felt numb. Du Fengwu's scales were actually slightly erected. Yang Dingtian's hand left Du Guoshuang's Qi Si and said, I have good news and bad news for you. Which one do you want to hear first? Bad news, Du Guoshuang said. The bad news is that I have no way to deal with the scales on your body. Perhaps, no one in this world has a way. Yang Dingtian said. Dugu Aoshuang instantly smiled sadly. Don't you want to know the good news? Yang Dingtian said. With this bad news, the good news is completely meaningless to me, Dugu Aoshuang said. The good news is that you might be from the strongest race in this world, the most perfect race. You will be much stronger than Dugu Fengwu. Yang Dingtian said. Dugu Aoshuang's delicate body shivered and revealed an astonished expression. She then asked, if I can recover my looks, will the scales on my body disappear? Yang Dingtian shook his head and said, I don't know. But, you might become the strongest person in this world. Dugu Aoshuang said sadly, what's the meaning of that? Everyone will still be afraid of you when they see you and will still despise you. I am not like Fengwu. I don't have any desire for power. Yang Dingtian said, don't you want to know why you have scales? If it can be cured, then I want to know. If the scales on my body cannot be removed, then there is no meaning in knowing the reason for the scales, Dugu Aoshuang said. Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and said, Aoshuang, can you keep everything that I am going to say a secret? Don't tell anyone, including your father and Dugu Fengwu. Then you don't have to say it, Dugu Aoshuang said. Yang Dingtian instantly fell into silence. All right, if you want me to keep it a secret, I will keep it a secret. I will not tell anyone. Dugu Aoshuang said, I am a woman with low self-esteem and a loyal woman. Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and organized his words. After a while, he said, your mystic meridians are completely different from a human's mystic meridians. Instead, they are similar to a demonic beast's mystic meridians. They are much stronger than a human's mystic meridians and much more perfect than a demonic beast's mystic meridians. I have never seen your sea of qi before. Even though there is no trace of mystic qi in it, I cannot imagine that you were born with such a huge sea of qi. Aoshuang, do you know about the Naga race? At this moment, Dugu Aoshuang was truly astonished. She instinctively nodded and said, I know, the strongest race in the ancient times, a race that was close to a demigod. Of course, I am not saying that you are definitely from the Naga race. Yang Dingtian said, in this world, there is an extremely dark and depraved energy life form. They can change into various forms and lure many races in this world. Many years ago, the sea snakes at the bottom of the sea were tempted by this. After mating with this depraved energy life form, the dragon transformed and gave birth to this Naga race. This kind of inferior Naga race is incomparably strong, but has a fatal flaw. Thus, they went to the land and looked for the most mediocre and balanced human race to mate with. Finally, they gave birth to the strongest and most perfect demigod race in history, the Naga race. And then? Dugu Aoshuang said. After the Great Nirvana, the ancient civilization was completely destroyed. This new world grew up in the ruins of the ancient martial arts civilization. Thus, this kind of depraved energy life form once again tempted various races and gave birth to a second perfect race. And these races once again came to the human world to mate with humans in an attempt to give birth to the most perfect and powerful race. Yang Dingtian looked at Dugu Aoshuang and said, so, you don't know who your birth mother is, because she came from another world and is a second perfect race. Perhaps, it was a sea snake or some other dragon race that transformed into a human and found your mother. After mating, it gave birth to you and Dugu Fengwu. Dugu Fengwu completely inherited everything from your father, so she has extremely high martial talent. And you integrated everything from your mother. I don't know what this means. But perhaps, you are unique in this world. At this moment, Dugu Aoshuang was completely stunned. She said with a trembling voice, then why am I so weak? Yang Dingtian shook his head and said, I don't know. Dugu Aoshuang stretched out her hands and looked at her palms in disbelief. She then covered her face and said, I would rather not have all of this. I only want a beautiful face and normal skin. I only want people to not despise me or be afraid of me. Yang Dingtian stretched out his hand and touched Dugu Aoshuang's face and said, I don't know when your scales will disappear, but I am sure that when they disappear, you will shock the world. But if that day really comes, I only hope that you won't hate humans. But I really hate everyone, Dugu Aoshuang said. The hair on Yang Dingtian's back instantly stood up as he asked, everyone? I love Bao Bao. Dugu Aoshuang said, I also loved a man, but he ignored me. Of course, he shouldn't try to say that he loves me now. Otherwise, it will only cause me to hate him more. Because that is a lie. Just like how you rejected Dugu Fengwu's pity and pushed her away. Yang Dingtian looked at Dugu Aoshuang in a daze. This was a woman who could become the strongest race in the future. Why don't you kill me? I promise I won't hate you. Dugu Aoshuang said, if you pretend to be close to me, I will hate you. If you kill me, I won't hate you. I will gladly do it. Yang Dingtian looked at her and said seriously, Aoshuang, in this world, I love 2.5 women. One is Dongfang Bingling, and the other is Shimin Yanyan. Is the other half Dugu Fengwu? Aoshuang asked. It's not her. Yang Dingtian said, it's another woman. She is as mysterious as you, or even more mysterious than you. Then what do you mean by saying this to me? Dugu Aoshuang said. Instinctively, I will pity and love other women. But from the heart and emotions, I will probably not fall in love with other women. Yang Dingtian said, but you want me to kill you. How ridiculous is that? Because you are not the only powerful and dangerous race. There is at least one more. Who is it? Dugu Aoshuang asked. My other unborn baby is still in my mother's womb. I don't even know if it will be a boy or a girl. Yang Dingtian said, in fact, I am not sure if this baby will have a fox tail when it is born. Then will you love him or her? Dugu Aoshuang asked. Without holding back. Yang Dingtian said. If he or she is a huge threat to the human race, will you kill him or her? Dugu Aoshuang asked. I can't do it. Yang Dingtian said, I love everyone, but I love my family more. I understand, Dugu Aoshuang said. Aoshuang, promise me one thing. Yang Dingtian said, I am going to find the punishers of the Temple of Annihilation to save Dugu Fengwu. If I can come back, I hope you will follow me back to Cloud Heaven City. Is that all right? Dugu Aoshuang's beautiful eyes lit up as she nodded vigorously. After gently kissing the baby goodbye, Yang Dingtian turned and left. After turning left and right, he arrived at the huge platform of the Temple of Blood. At this moment, the demon spirit Ray was waiting for Yang Dingtian. Riding on the demon spirit Ray, Yang Dingtian patted her gently and said, Fly, let's go find your mistress. Instantly, the demon spirit Ray silently flew into the sky. At this moment, Dugu Shao flew into the sky and looked at Yang Dingtian. You didn't consummate your marriage with Dugu Fengwu. There is no need for that, Senior Dugu, Yang Dingtian said. Dugu Shao took out the yin-yang reincarnation crystal and handed it to Yang Dingtian. This is yours. I will return it to its owner now. Yang Dingtian took it and nodded. Goodbye. Afterward, the demon spirit Ray flew towards the land of chaos at its fastest speed. 10 hours later, the demon spirit Ray flew for close to 8,000 miles and stopped above the Blood Hotel. It was noon in the middle of the day. The Blood Hotel was silent as if there was no one there. This was a brothel, and it was busiest at night. At this moment, all the women were sleeping. There was no other reason why Dongfang Bingling stayed here. It was because this was a stronghold of the Yin-Yang school. There were 5 martial honorable realm powerhouses and a dozen martial ancestor realm powerhouses. Yang Dingtian pushed open the door to Dongfang Bingling's room. He thought that Dongfang Bingling would be standing by the window with her back facing him again. After entering, he was slightly stunned. Dongfang Bingling was lying on the bed, sleeping like a begonia. Yang Dingtian walked forward and gently pushed her shoulder. Dongfang Bingling opened her beautiful eyes and turned around. Her beautiful eyes were slightly blurred as she looked at Yang Dingtian. You are back. N. Yang Dingtian said, Dugu Shao, there is no way to cure the soul-devouring mysterious devil. N. Dongfang Bingling nodded and struggled to get out of bed. Dugu Fengwu is also affected by the soul-devouring mysterious devil, Yang Dingtian said. Dongfang Bingling was stunned. Why? Because she gave her virginity to me. Yang Dingtian said, the young master of the Temple of Annihilation is considered a betrayal. Dongfang Bingling was startled and said, she doesn't seem like such a person. Yang Dingtian didn't know what to say. Dongfang Bingling got out of bed and stretched. Senior brother, wait for me for a moment. I will take a bath and change my clothes. After that, we will go to the north and collect the mystic vein essence. No, junior sister. We are not going to collect the mystic vein essence first. Yang Dingtian said. Dongfang Bingling was puzzled. Why? Didn't we agree that we will be inseparable for the last month? We are going to collect the mystic vein essence and look for the mystic flame. I will accompany you to cultivate. I am not willing to. Yang Dingtian said, we are going to find that Punisher from the Temple of Annihilation and force him to hand over the method to cure the soul-devouring mysterious devil. Dongfang Bingling was currently taking out a sparkling and translucent cold ice jade box. When she opened the jade box, there was sparkling and translucent water that was extremely clean. This jade box was actually the profound cold ice jade that was collected from the bottom of the sea. It was the purest and coldest treasure in the world. Dongfang Bingling took out a jade bottle and dripped a drop of azure liquid into the water. Immediately, a delicate fragrance filled the entire room. Oh, senior brother. This is the dew crystal of the snow lotus of the north. I like it very much. Dongfang Bingling said, you have already gone to find Dugu Shao. Even he doesn't know how to cure the soul-devouring mysterious devil. That Punisher also doesn't know. In fact, there is no cure at all. I have already let it go. Why is senior brother still so stubborn? Then, Dongfang Bingling used this extremely rare and pure water to wash her face. After washing her face, she used ice profound energy to instantly freeze the used water. Then, she took it out and put it aside. Then, she used ice and wind profound skills to thoroughly clean the box containing the profound cold ice jade. This Dongfang Bingling was completely pure to the extreme. Her entire body was as pure as ice and as pure as jade. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but say, junior sister, you must have suffered a lot during the time you were unconscious. Don't laugh at me. Dongfang Bingling said, since senior brother is unwilling to give up and wants to find that Punisher, then let's go. But you don't even know where he is or who he is. Yang Dingtian took out a mask from his spatial ring and put it on. Immediately, this mask seemed to come to life. It gradually wriggled and finally grew on Yang Dingtian's face. It was as if it was a real face. An illusion mask? Dongfang Bingling said. Yes. The owner of this face was once the young master of the Ning clan of the South Sea. Yang Dingtian said, junior sister, does the Ning clan of the South Sea have a stronghold in the Bedlam lands? Yes. Celestial world. Dongfang Bingling said, coincidentally, it's also a brothel. Moreover, it's the largest and most luxurious brothel in the entire Bedlam lands. Is it far from here? Yang Dingtian asked. 1,300 li, Dongfang Bingling said, it's in the largest city in the Bedlam lands, Sky Demon City. That's the most chaotic and dangerous place in the Bedlam lands. Even the forces of the Tiando League can't protect a single person there. Alright, then let's go to Celestial World. Yang Dingtian said, as long as my face appears there, the Punisher of the Temple of Annihilation will appear in front of us. Why? Dongfang Bingling asked. Because the Punisher of the Temple of Annihilation once appeared with the face of a member of the Ning clan of the South Sea. He's a yin-yang person. Yang Dingtian said. Alright, then senior brother, please wait for a moment. I'll change my clothes. Dongfang Bingling took off her clothes and said, oh right, senior brother, in Sky Demon City, our strength is very limited. They can't even protect us. 3 hours later. Yang Dingtian entered the legendary Sky Demon City with the face of the young master of the Ning clan of the South Sea and Dongfang Bingling, who also changed her appearance, to look for the Punisher of the Temple of Annihilation. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to Chidian.com to read. Chapter 379. The illusion mask on Yang Dingtian's face had a long history. At the same time, it was the most precious mask in the world. Because this was a completely real face, and also a living face. No one, even the most intimate people, would be able to tell that this face was fake because it was so real that even the eyes and pupils were exactly the same. It was completely alive. The creation of this mask was also extremely difficult and accidental. First, it needed an illusion beast. The illusion beast was one of the rarest demonic beasts in the world. Its battle talent wasn't that great, but it had a heaven-defying ability, and that was its ability to transform. It could transform into almost any appearance it wanted, even a person. Just this point alone was enough to make people's hair stand on end. Because perhaps one day, the woman lying on your bed would no longer be the woman you loved. Instead, she would be transformed from a phantom beast. Of course, this kind of situation wouldn't happen because the illusion beast couldn't speak, and its transformation time was relatively short. In order to make a shape-shifting mask, one had to catch a shape-shifting beast and peel off its skin. After planting its face, one needed to find a person who was about to die and put the face on that person's face. Why did it have to be a person who was about to die? Because once the illusion beast's face was put on the person's face, it would grow into that person's face and become one with that person's face. If that person lived for a long time, then the face would completely disappear into that person's body. And if that person died in a short time, then the illusion beast's face would automatically leave that person's face and look for a new host. Even when the illusion beast's face was put on until the person died, there was a strict time limit. It couldn't be too long, it couldn't be too short. Therefore, it was very difficult to fulfill these two conditions. Just the illusion beast alone was simply impossible to catch. First of all, its speed was simply too fast. Second, even if you met it, you wouldn't know that it was an illusion beast because it could transform into any appearance at will. Not only demonic beasts, it could also transform into stones, mud, and so on. And Shimin Ningning got this illusion mask purely by chance. At that time, Shimin Ningning met the floating ray. It was a very rare and beautiful mount, and Ningning wanted to tame it. Thus, he chased her for thousands of miles and arrived at the depths of Jialan mountain range. There, she met a dying man, the owner of this face. In front of him was a dead illusion beast. The man told Ningning that his name was Ning Fu, the young master of the Ning clan in the South Sea. Because he didn't have long to live, but reality required him to live, so he wanted to live in another way. Therefore, he had to make a phantom mask that looked exactly like him and put it on another man's face so that that man could live on in his place, complete what he should do, and take care of the people he should take care of. It took Ning Fan 3 years to find a mirage beast and chase it for tens of thousands of miles to reach Garan mountain range. By the time he caught the phantom beast, he was already nearing the end of his life. Shimin Ningning spent a lot of effort but couldn't save him. Ning Fu asked Shimin Ningning to remove the illusion mask from his face after he died and give it to someone called Sha Wuming. Of course, Ningning searched for a long time and didn't hear of anyone called Sha Wuming. She even went to the Ning clan in the South Sea to ask around, but she didn't hear of this person. Therefore, Ningning wore the mask with her. Later, when Yang Dingtian needed it, she temporarily lent the mask to Yang Dingtian. She didn't expect that something would happen later. Yang Dingtian didn't have time to return many of his things to Ningning. One of them was the illusion mask. After the beautiful woman finished cursing the Punisher of the Temple of Annihilation, she knelt in front of Yang Dingtian and kissed Yang Dingtian's toes. Ning Bai greets the young master. Then, the beautiful woman started sobbing uncontrollably. As for the woman who called Yang Dingtian Ning Lang, she threw herself into Yang Dingtian's arms and cried until she couldn't make a sound. She hugged Yang Dingtian tightly and fainted. There was no doubt that there was a sad story behind this. As for the Punisher of the Temple of Annihilation, he looked at Yang Dingtian's face and his entire body started trembling violently. After the beautiful woman finished crying, she pointed at the Punisher and said, "You lowly slave. You keep saying that the young master is dead and then sneaking around Miss Shui. What are your intentions? Speak." After saying that, the beautiful woman pulled out a blue sharp sword condensed from energy from her sleeve and said coldly, "Today, I will kill you." Then, the beautiful woman charged straight at the Punisher. Yang Dingtian could tell at a glance that the beautiful woman's cultivation was around the martial honorable level. She was no match for the Punisher. But in reality, the Punisher was dodging left and right in a very sorry state. In the blink of an eye, he was stabbed several times. Yang Dingtian was shocked. Could it be that he was wrong? Was this Yin-Yang person from the Ning clan of the South Sea not the Punisher of the Temple of Annihilation? At this moment, the Yin-Yang person was stabbed a few more times and was on the verge of death. Yang Dingtian hurriedly said, "Stop." As soon as he said that, the Yin-Yang person unexpectedly rushed at Yang Dingtian and said sternly, "Young master, I have something to say." The Yin-Yang person didn't seem to want Yang Dingtian to finish his sentence. "Ning Bai, help Shui out first. I have something to say to him," Yang Dingtian said. That Ning Bai obviously obeyed young Lord Ning Fu. Immediately, she bent her body slightly and left with Shui in her arms. Suddenly, in the secret room a few hundred meters underground, only Yang Dingtian, Dongfang Bingling, and the Yin-Yang person from the Ning clan of the South Sea were left. Yang Dingtian. The Yin-Yang person from the Ning clan of the South Sea said. Yang Dingtian was stunned. He didn't expect the other party to call out his identity directly. Nodding, Yang Dingtian asked tentatively, "Sha Wuming?" At that time, Ningyu asked Shiman Ningning to give the illusion mask to Sha Wuming. Sha Wuming was actually not a real name. In the South Sea, there were many people called Sha Wuming. They all had a common identity, which was that they were illegitimate children. Therefore, this name was completely synonymous with lowly. No. The Yin-Yang person shook his head and said, "Are you here to find the Punisher of the Temple of Annihilation?" Yang Dingtian nodded. "I am the Punisher," said the Yin-Yang person. Immediately, Yang Dingtian's hair stood on end and he instantly prepared to fight. "You are far from being my match." The Yin-Yang person said, "Dongfang Bingling is very strong, and I am slightly inferior to her. However, she has been poisoned by my soul-devouring devil mystic and is destined to be controlled by me. Therefore, if we really fight, you can't do anything to me. Instead, you, Yang Dingtian, will die here." Yang Dingtian said, "I'm here to negotiate. In the northwest Qin city, you were willing to pay such a huge price to get this Yin-Yang Samsara crystal. Now, I am willing to give this Yin-Yang Samsara crystal to you for free. Then what do you want?" asked the Punisher. "I want a way to cure the soul-devouring devil mystic," Yang Dingtian said. "Impossible." The Punisher said, "There is no cure for the soul-devouring devil mystic. This is a supreme evil technique that the master of the Temple of Annihilation, Wan Wentian, modified from the soul-devouring mystic Qi 200 years ago. There is absolutely no cure. You really don't have any solution?" Yang Dingtian said. "Absolutely not," said the Punisher. "All right then. If you don't have a solution, then listen to my solution." Yang Dingtian said, "If I remember correctly, you just need to force out the evil spirit energy in the body of the soul-devouring devil mystic. Then, you can cure it. The principle is correct. However, what are you going to use to force out the evil spirit energy?" The Punisher sneered. "You planted the soul-devouring devil mystic in Dugu Fengwu and Dongfang Bingling. There is an evil spirit parasitic in your body. As long as you are killed, this evil spirit will lose its host. The soul-devouring devil mystic in Dongfang Bingling and Dugu Fengwu's bodies will weaken. Then, you can use the energy black hole to suck it out. Then, you should be able to cure them. Yang Dingtian said. You have an energy black hole? The Punisher was shocked. That's right. Yang Dingtian said, do you think my solution makes sense? It is definitely a genius idea. However, the prerequisite is that you have to kill me, right? The Punisher said. That's right. Yang Dingtian said. It is a pity that the two of you together will not be able to kill me. Instead, you will die in my hands. The Punisher said. Then, let's give it a try. Yang Dingtian said. Subsequently, he unsheathed the golden soul sword and yelled out, Men, kill this evil slave for me. Once he said that, several figures rushed in from outside. Not only was there the beautiful Ningbai, but there was also that young girl called Shui and 3 martial supreme elders. After these people came in, they shouted in unison, Yes, young lord. The Punisher's expression changed greatly. He looked at Yang Dingtian and said coldly, You are despicable. Sorry. Yang Dingtian said, Go, kill him. Instantly, the experts of the Southern Seas Ning clan pounced on the Punisher like lightning. Almost instantly, this Punisher was at a disadvantage. It was as if he was afraid of harming the innocent. Especially when he was facing that girl, Shui, he was very careful, afraid of hurting her. Then, Yang Dingtian rushed in with his sword. Dongfang Bingling frowned. She really didn't want to join in at this time. She, Dongfang Bingling, had always fought alone. Now that she was ganging up on someone, it went against her pride. She looked at Yang Dingtian helplessly. Dongfang Bingling also rushed into the battle with her sword. After Dongfang Bingling entered the battle, the situation changed completely. Originally, although the experts of the Southern Seas Ning clan had the upper hand against this Punisher, they did not have any results. However, the Punisher seemed to be unwilling to hurt them at all, so he fought with restraint. After Dongfang Bingling entered, her sword was like lightning and like a ghost. Almost instantly, this Punisher was on the verge of death. The Punisher's expression changed, and he said, Excuse me. Then, his eyes suddenly changed, and he opened his palm. Swoosh! Suddenly, the air froze, trapped by a terrifying evil energy. The 4 experts of the Southern Seas Ning clan were all fixed in place in an instant, completely unable to move. Yang Dingtian revealed a horrified expression. What kind of move was this? It was actually so powerful that it could freeze 4 experts in place. Then, he looked at Dongfang Bingling and said, Originally, I was a little weaker than you, but after being hit by the soul-devouring devil spell, you are destined to be very passive when fighting me. Don't you know that after being hit by the soul-devouring devil spell, even a great grandmaster will become a puppet and be controlled by the caster? Then, the Punisher's face abruptly turned into a terrifying, eerie blue color. A dark aura abruptly burst out of his body. In an instant, like a demon, it rushed out of his body and rushed toward Dongfang Bingling, burrowing into her brain. Ah! In an instant, Bingling's footsteps stopped. Then, something strange happened. She couldn't control her sword at all, nor her hands, nor her body. The sword that was originally stabbing toward the Punisher was now stabbing toward Yang Dingtian. Her speed was too fast, and Yang Dingtian was completely unable to resist the cultivation of a great grandmaster. Senior brother, run! Bingling exclaimed. However, her sharp sword was still completely out of control, and it suddenly stabbed toward Yang Dingtian's chest. Hiss! In an instant, an incomparably powerful energy hit Yang Dingtian's chest. Pfft! A mouthful of blood spurted out. Subsequently, an ice-cold and dreadful energy instantly tore apart all of Yang Dingtian's defenses and drilled into his mystic meridians and chi vessel. Instantly, his chi vessel was going to be torn into pieces. The 9 Yang profound veins and the heaven and earth profound flame were almost completely unable to resist Dongfang Bingling's powerful energy. In an instant, Yang Dingtian's chi was about to be completely torn apart, and his entire body was instantly smashed to pieces. Dongfang Bingling had only used one sword to directly shatter Yang Dingtian's body. No! Dongfang Bingling cried out miserably as if she was weeping blood. No! Dongfang Bingling's delicate body trembled violently, and she instantly gritted her teeth to bleed. A terrifying willpower suddenly condensed in her beautiful eyes. Then, her delicate body shook violently, and an incomparably powerful blue energy instantly vibrated out of her body. Boom! The ground shook violently. From a few hundred meters underground, the ground began to crack, layer by layer. In an instant, all the trees and pavilions on the ground were instantly shattered. Dongfang Bingling's willpower was actually so astonishing. Just now, her body had been controlled by the soul-devouring devil's evil energy, and she wanted to kill Yang Dingtian. In order to save Yang Dingtian, in order to prevent this tragedy from happening, she actually used her terrifying willpower to attack the evil energy in an instant. Moreover, she actually succeeded. But the consequence was the collision and tearing of her chi, the collision and tearing of the energy in her entire body. This tearing allowed her to successfully prevent her from killing Yang Dingtian. But the consequence was self-destruction. It was as if a nuclear bomb had exploded in her chi. The Punisher was very close to Dongfang Bingling, and it was he who used the evil energy to control Dongfang Bingling's will. But he didn't expect her will to be so astonishing, violently resisting the control of the evil energy. This powerful collision directly backfired on him. A mouthful of blood spurted out violently, and the Punisher's body flew out directly, slamming into the wall and falling down. And the experts of the Ning clan in the South Sea were all unconscious, and it was unknown whether they were dead or alive. "Senior brother, let's go." Dongfang Bingling looked at Yang Dingtian, covered her lower abdomen, and collapsed to the ground. Inside Yang Dingtian's body, Dongfang Bingling's terrifying energy was still colliding, almost tearing his body apart inch by inch, and blood spurted out from his ears, nose, and mouth. Seeing Dongfang Bingling collapse, Yang Dingtian was almost inconsolable. He rushed over frantically, helped her up, and frantically poured holy water pills into her mouth. Dongfang Bingling clutched her lower abdomen, and blood kept flowing out from between her fingers. The Punisher got up from the ground, gently wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and looked at Dongfang Bingling in disbelief, and said, "In hundreds of years, you are the first to succeed in resisting the energy of the evil energy. I have never seen or heard of it before. But," the Punisher continued, "now, your chi has cracked. Moreover, the evil energy will devour your soul even more frantically. Originally you could hold on for a month, but now you won't last more than 10 days. After 10 days, you will completely become a succubus. Unfortunately, your chi is damaged, and perhaps you won't be able to become a powerful succubus. But you are so beautiful, even if you can't become a powerful succubus, the young master will still dote on you." The Punisher came in front of Yang Dingtian, took Yang Dingtian's golden soul sword, pulled it out, and placed it across Yang Dingtian's neck, and said, "What a peerless sword. If there is an emperor-grade soul sword in the world, then this is it. If I offer it to the young master, I wonder what kind of reward I will receive." The golden soul sword's blade gently cut open Yang Dingtian's neck, and blood immediately flowed out. What a peerless sword! To be able to die by its blade is absolutely worth it. The Punisher smiled faintly. After saying that, he used more force, and Yang Dingtian's flesh was cut open millimeter by millimeter. But he didn't care in the slightest, and he frantically poured his profound energy into Dongfang Bingling, trying to control the terrifying energy rampaging inside her body. Slash! The Punisher suddenly used more force, and the golden sword stabbed into his body, causing blood to spurt out. Instantly, Yang Dingtian was stunned. Because the sword didn't stab into his body, but into the Punisher's own chest. Instantly, Yang Dingtian was completely stupefied. This Punisher actually stabbed his own heart to commit suicide when he had the absolute advantage. Why was that? Was he crazy? That wasn't all. The Punisher pulled the blade back, and a huge gash was cut open in his own chest. Yang Dingtian saw it. His heart was a terrifying dark blue, and it emitted a strange light. At this moment, it was directly pierced through by the sword. Dongfang Bingling, actually, you don't have to be so resolute. I won't let you kill Yang Dingtian at all. I just want to show you how terrifying evil spirits are. The Punisher smiled helplessly and said, Yang Dingtian, actually, there is a solution to the soul-devouring demon mystic. If you want to know, then you have to agree to one condition. Tell me, Yang Dingtian said in a trembling voice. Continue to pretend to be Ningyu. When you're strong enough, go to the Ning clan of the South Sea to save my wife, save the Ning clan of the South Sea, and kill Sha Wuming, the Punisher said. Yang Dingtian asked in shock, why? The Punisher tore off his face. It was a thin mask, and he instantly revealed his true face. This was a handsome yet strange face. It was handsome because the facial features were almost perfect. It was strange because the muscles of this face were completely transparent, a dark blue color. Even the blood vessels and bones inside could be seen clearly. It was completely like a ghost. However, what shocked Yang Dingtian wasn't that this face looked like a ghost, but that this face looked exactly the same as his mask. You're Ningyu. Aren't you dead? Yang Dingtian asked in shock. The Punisher nodded and said, that's right. I'm already dead. Before I died, I asked Shiman Ningning to give the mask to Sha Wuming. So when you appeared, I knew you were Yang Dingtian because Shiman Ningning would only give the mask to you. I was already dead at that time, but then I used another method to come back to life. Do you know why? Evil spirit. Yang Dingtian said. That's right, evil spirit. Ningyu said, look at my heart. It's transparent. It's disgusting and strange. It had already stopped beating, but the evil spirit made it start beating again. It also helped my cultivation advance by leaps and bounds, allowing me to become a master before I was 30. Otherwise, according to the original plan, I would have become a master at least in my 40s. The hair on Yang Dingtian's back stood on end. This evil spirit's energy could bring people back to life and make their cultivation advance by leaps and bounds. How terrifying was that? And this energy was already in the hands of the Temple of Annihilation. Ningyu said, but living like this is even more painful than dying. I'm not a living person at all. I'm a living dead. If I had a choice, I'd rather die than be resurrected in this way. But I had no choice. When I woke up after I died, I was already a living dead, a walking corpse. Before Ningyu finished speaking, he coughed and blood kept gushing out. I released the Soul Eater Devil twice and completely overdrew my life force. I don't have long to live. To me, death is not scary at all. Instead, it's a relief. The only thing I'm worried about is the Ning clan of the South Sea, my wife, my lover. Ningyu said, Sha Wuming is my father's illegitimate son. I personally rescued him from the slums. At that time, I knew I didn't have long to live, so I wanted to let him inherit everything of the Ning clan of the South Sea. I was afraid that his identity as an illegitimate son would be shameful, so I made the illusion mask and let him take over the Ning clan for me. But what I didn't know was that under his humble and loving face, there was a heart as venomous as a scorpion's. He sold himself to the devil, raped his sister-in-law, and killed his clansmen. He made the entire Ning clan of the South Sea fall into the abyss. If he doesn't die, the Ning clan of the South Sea will only fall into the 18th layer of hell. Then why didn't you kill him? You're so strong, Yang Dingtian said. Ningyu smiled sadly and said, the person he sold himself to is my master. In front of the devil, his status is higher than mine. I'm just a walking corpse, and he's a minion. My cultivation all comes from evil spirits. I can't kill him. Promise me, Yang Dingtian. Ningyu grabbed Yang Dingtian's hand and said with all his strength, promise me that when you're strong, you'll kill that bastard Sha Wuming and save the Ning clan. Continue to pretend to be me. Don't let the Ning clan destroy us. Yang Dingtian said, but I have my own mission. Do you want me to always bear this responsibility? Have a child with my wife, and then train him to be the successor of the Ning clan. Then your responsibility will be over, Ning Yu said. Promise me. Otherwise, I won't tell you the way to break down the Soul Eater Devil. I've already told you the way to break the Soul Eater Devil. The key is to kill you. Once you die, the evil spirit will weaken, and I can use the energy black hole to force it out of Bing Ling's body, Yang Dingtian said. It's useless, Yang Dingtian, Punisher Ning Yu said. This evil spirit is the strongest energy in the world. Do you know the origin of the energy black hole? Of course, Yang Dingtian said. It's formed from the water of the celestial Red Sea. Then do you know how the celestial Red Sea came about? Punisher Ning Yu said. The water of the celestial Red Sea was originally normal water. But one day, the world burst open and space overflowed. The evil spirit energy seeped into the sea. Suddenly, the sea and the sky became the celestial Red Sea. The energy black hole was formed by the corruption of the evil spirit energy. Tell me, between the two of them, whose energy level is higher? Yang Dingtian was completely stunned. The energy black hole was the product of the corruption of the evil spirit energy? Then what energy in the world could resist the evil spirit? So, only I know the way to break the Soul Eater Devil, Ning Yu said. As long as you agree to my conditions, I'll tell you. Okay, I agree, Yang Dingtian said. Swear, Ning Yu said. I swear that if Ning Yu tells me the way to break the Soul Eater Devil, I'll kill Sha Wuming within 3 years and save the Ning clan of the South Sea. I'll also pretend to be Ning Yu and take on the responsibility of protecting the Ning clan of the South Sea. Yang Dingtian said, if I violate this oath, I'll swear on your master and Shimen Wuya, Ning Yu said. Yang Dingtian glared at him and said coldly, if I violate this oath, I'll make sure my master and Uncle Shimen will never have peace in the underworld. Then, Yang Dingtian stared coldly at Ning Yu and said, now, you can say it, right? Ning Yu nodded and said, Yang Dingtian, I've been observing you for a long time. I once thought of snatching your mask and handing it to someone else who's worth trusting. But after observing you for so long, I'm sure you're the most worthy person. Now that you've made the oath, no matter what happens, you have to fulfill your promise. Yang Dingtian said in shock, what do you mean? You don't have the method to break the Soul Eater Devil? Ning Yu said, Hall Master Wan Wentian used his body to feed the devil and created the Soul Eater Devil. But for his beloved woman, he left behind a flaw. Only by finding this flaw can you break the Soul Eater Devil. Of course, as for where this flaw is, no one in the world knows. You, Yang Dingtian, will definitely not be able to find it. So, even if I tell you this method, you won't be able to save Dongfang Bingling and Dugu Fengwu. Are you scheming against me? Yang Dingtian said coldly. I've already told you the method, and I didn't go back on my words. Furthermore, you've already made the oath. Ning Yu said, you won't be calculative with a person who's about to die, right? What's the flaw that Wan Wentian left behind? Yang Dingtian asked. It's useless. You won't be able to get it. You won't be able to find it within hundreds of thousands of miles of heaven and earth. Ning Yu said, you can give up. What exactly is it? Yang Dingtian asked. A teardrop. The tear of the Temple of Annihilation's master, condensed into a crystal. Ning Yu said, this is the supreme token of the evil ways. How did you get it? Tear? Yang Dingtian was instantly stunned. He recalled the teardrop hanging on his neck. It was the teardrop that Ning gave him. Ning Shu said, although he and I share the same master, he never knew me. He always thought that I was dead. Yang Dingtian pointed at the delicate and beautiful Shui Yi on the ground and asked, then what's the matter with this girl? Ning Yu looked at her with pity and said, I saved her from the human traffickers. I thought of her as my sister, but she thought of me as a man. I focused on martial arts and have never been interested in the affairs of men and women. Although I kept my distance from my wife, I loved and hated her. After all, I only love her. Therefore, I have been avoiding Shui Yi for a long time. Until 2 days ago, when I knew that you would definitely come here to find me, I came to heavenly earth again. Of course, she doesn't know me anymore. In fact, the time we spent together was very short, so she is already a stranger to me. The person she loves is just the impression that I saved her from the fire and water. Then how should I treat her? Yang Dingtian asked. Just let her stay here. Someone will protect her. Ning Shu said, when she is fully grown, find her a good man and marry him. She will definitely agree. She is very obedient. Okay. Yang Dingtian said, give me back the sword. Yang Dingtian reached out his hand. Once the sword was pulled out, Ningyu would be completely dead. Okay. Ningyu slowly pulled out the sword. Blood kept pouring out of his mouth, turning from red to black, and finally into a strange blue blood. Moreover, his face had already begun to rot. It was completely impossible to see his previous appearance. The breath of life in his eyes became stronger and stronger. Yang Dingtian, remember your oath. Ningyu pulled out the golden sword completely and handed it to Yang Dingtian. Okay, you can go. I will stay here alone for the last 15 minutes of my life. Yang Dingtian took the sword and said, goodbye. Then, Yang Dingtian picked up Dongfang Bingling. He came to Ningbai and gently inserted a strand of mystical qi, then fed him a pill. After Ningbai woke up, mystical qi poured out of his body and instantly grabbed the sword. He blocked Yang Dingtian behind him and was about to pounce on Ningyu. But when he saw Ningyu's rotten face and the wound on his chest, he was stunned. Young master, are you okay? Then, Ningbai turned around and looked at Yang Dingtian with concern. I'm fine. Yang Dingtian said. Ningbai immediately sobbed, young master, you're finally back. Many people said that you were dead, but I didn't believe it. You're finally back. Yang Dingtian nodded, then walked to Shui and fed her a pill. Shui slowly woke up. Her beautiful and weak eyes were completely filled with dependence and attachment. She said softly, Ningyu. Okay, I'm leaving. In about 2 or 3 years, I'll bring you home. Yang Dingtian said to Shui. Yes, Ningyu. Shui said softly. The word obedience was written on every inch of her face. Take care. Yang Dingtian said. Yang Dingtian carried Dongfang Bingling and walked out. After a few steps, Yang Dingtian turned around and asked the Punisher Ningyu, oh right, if I really find that tear, how many people can I save? How? Ningyu opened his eyes and said, of course, you can only save one person. Because Wan Wentian only loved one person. As soon as he said this, Yang Dingtian suddenly staggered. His vision turned black and he almost fainted. Only one person? Why could he only save one person? How should he choose? Dugu Fengwu was his son's biological mother. Dongfang Bingling was his master's daughter and his beloved woman. How should he choose? Instantly, Yang Dingtian's mind went blank. He walked out numbly. Just as he walked out of the small building, suddenly, a few bone-chilling energy attacked him like ghosts. Hee, young Master Ningyu, young Master Ning Wuming sent me to greet you. Then, a gloomy voice came from the air. 5 sharp swords pierced towards Yang Dingtian. Every one of them was an advanced martial revered expert. Sha Wuming's lackeys actually came here to kill the so-called Ningyu. It seemed that he had been worried that Ningyu was not dead, so he had people lurking in the earthly paradise. As long as Ningyu's face appeared, his subordinates would immediately kill. 5 martial supreme class experts, and each of them had a cultivation much higher than Yang Dingtian. Young master, be careful. Ningyu exclaimed and rushed out. Senior brother, be careful. Dongfang Bingling exclaimed in Yang Dingtian's arms. She jumped out and pounced towards the enemy. Junior sister, don't. Yang Dingtian shouted. Dongfang Bingling's sea of qi was already broken. If she activated her celestial qi, she would die. Ah! Yang Dingtian roared. In an instant, the million-spirit demon fire was condensed to the extreme. He poured it into his sword and slashed at the enemy. Ding! Yang Dingtian's sword collided with one of Sha Wuming's subordinates. In an instant, an extremely cold celestial chi energy drilled into Yang Dingtian's body and tore it apart. Puff! Although the 6-star marshal revered was 4 stars higher than Yang Dingtian, after being hit by the heaven and earth level celestial flame, he spat out blood and the celestial meridians in his arm instantly cracked. However, Yang Dingtian was even more uncomfortable. The celestial meridians in his body were completely frozen. The area from his chest to his throat was blocked by blood and the blood froze. As for Ningyu, although she was a martial revered expert, she did not have the slightest resistance in front of a high-level martial revered. With just one move, she spat out blood and flew out like a scarecrow. Shui Yi went forward to catch Ningyu. She also spat out blood from the impact. Her cultivation was even weaker. On the other side, Dongfang Bingling, who was seriously injured, was still fighting 1 against 2. Hiss hiss. Her sword was like the cold light of the stars in the 9th heaven. It was extremely beautiful and disappeared in an instant. As long as her sword was unsheathed, it would definitely hurt. Although the 2 high-level martial revered tried their best to stop her, it was completely useless. In an instant, Dongfang Bingling stabbed their chests. Then, their entire bodies instantly froze into ice. Bingling's sword shook slightly. The 2 ice men exploded in an instant. They were smashed into pieces and turned into countless pieces of frozen flesh, scattering on the ground. Bingling's strength was completely unparalleled. Even if her sea of qi was broken and her cultivation was damaged, she still killed 2 high-level martial revered experts. When the remaining enemies saw how terrifying Bingling was, they were instantly stunned and instinctively took a few steps back. Bingling covered her lower abdomen as blood flowed out more and more violently. Biting her lips, Bingling wanted to exhaust the last of her strength to kill the remaining 3 people. She suddenly raised her celestial qi. Puff! Suddenly, a blue flame directly emerged from her sea of qi in her lower abdomen. The celestial flame did not come out of the celestial meridians. It directly burst out from the broken sea of qi. Bingling spat out a mouthful of blood and directly fell to the ground. It was unknown whether she was dead or alive. Junior sister. Yang Dingtian's eyes were about to crack. The gushing blood instantly melted the ice energy in his body. Before Bingling fell to the ground, he caught her. His hand was covered in wet blood. The blood did not have a trace of warmth. It was ice cold. Ah! Yang Dingtian roared. The million-spirit demon fire in his abdomen and the dark celestial flame in the interspatial ring madly condensed. Die! 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 I will tear you into pieces. Everyone will die together. Boom! The terrifying celestial flame fiercely burned Yang Dingtian's body. Yang Dingtian roared and rushed towards the 3 martial revered experts. Hee hee. The remaining 3 martial revered experts sneered. The 3 of them simultaneously drew their swords. They were separated by dozens of meters and combined their swords into one. A terrifying blue ghostly light burst out in an instant. Celestial skill, and it was the combined celestial skill of the 3 of them. In an instant, it burst out toward Yang Dingtian. Even if Yang Dingtian gave it his all, he would not be able to block the 3 high-level martial revered experts' celestial skill. There was only one ending, which was to be smashed to pieces. He and Bingling would both be smashed to pieces. Alright, let's die together. I don't need to make a painful choice. Yang Dingtian's body was almost burning as he rushed forward. Step by step, the celestial flame burned fiercely. Young master, don't. Ning Lang, don't. In an instant, 2 figures rushed towards the huge ghostly light sword like lightning. Don't. Yang Dingtian madly accelerated, trying to push them away. However, they were too close. Their determination to die was too strong. Their speed was too fast. Almost in an instant, the two delicate bodies fiercely collided with the huge ghostly light sword. The ghostly light pierced through their bodies and suddenly exploded. A strange and terrifying blue light instantly illuminated the entire underground darkness. Ningbai and Shui's delicate bodies were like two flower petals in the air. They suddenly shook and instantly disappeared. Yang Dingtian's heart almost exploded. Blood almost burst out of his brain. Endless anger, endless pain, and endless hatred. Die! Not only did he burn the celestial flame, but he also crazily burned his sea of qi. He only had one thought now, and that was to perish together. He wanted to completely smash the three beasts in front of him. Young master, go! Suddenly, Ningbai's strange and incomparably sorrowful voice came from behind. Go, go, then, an incomparably powerful energy pushed Yang Dingtian out. There was a thick layer of earth in front of him. However, wherever Yang Dingtian passed, all the obstacles in front of him turned into powder. In an instant, Yang Dingtian was like a cannonball. He directly flew out from hundreds of meters underground to thousands of meters high in the sky. Boom, the ground below was like a huge electromagnetic bomb exploding. A strange blue light abruptly appeared. The entire night was completely illuminated and turned into day. Then, the houses and trees on the ground turned into powder. Dozens of acres of ground suddenly bulged up. Then, it crazily collapsed and then crazily solidified. The solidified ground was suffused with an eerie blue metallic luster. At the last moment, Ningbai self-detonated his chi vessel and evil spirit energy. After his chi vessel's energy and his evil spirit energy mixed and exploded. The entire heavenly earth was razed to the ground. The remaining three martial revered level subordinates sent by Sha Wuming were also destined to be smashed into pieces. Finally, Yang Dingtian seemed to vaguely hear Ningbai's voice in his ears. Yang Dingtian, remember our agreement, remember your oath. Kill Sha Wuming and save the Ning clan of the South Sea. Yang Dingtian floated in the air and looked at the strange blue light on the ground. The blood in his body seemed to be still boiling. Ningbai, this was an enemy and not a friend. He was neither human nor ghost. He was the punisher of the Temple of Annihilation. He planted the soul-devouring devil mystery in Dugu Fengwu and Dongfang Bingling, which made Yang Dingtian hate him to the core. But at the last moment, he spared Yang Dingtian's life and told him the way to save him. He even self-detonated and perished together with the enemy, saving Yang Dingtian's life. Not only that, Ningbai and Shui, these two innocent women, also died under Sha Wuming's claws for the Ningbai in their hearts. Ningbai, I will promise you that I will tear Sha Wuming into pieces, Yang Dingtian said coldly. Even though he had never met Sha Wuming, Yang Dingtian's hatred for him was already irreconcilable. Ningbai and Shui, these two innocent women, died under Sha Wuming's claws to save him. Bing Ling's chi vessel was also destroyed because of Sha Wuming. This person must taste all the torture in the world. Cut him into pieces and tear him into pieces. Definitely. Yang Dingtian gritted his teeth and said. Then, he flapped his mystic wings and flew towards the southeast. In the air, Yang Dingtian kept stuffing holy water elixir into Dongfang Bingling's mouth. The extremely precious holy water elixir was put into Bingling's mouth like it was the most worthless thing. He crushed it and dripped it on the wound on Bingling's abdomen. After flying for a few hundred meters, Yang Dingtian quickly landed in a deep mountain. At this moment, Bingling was completely unconscious. Yang Dingtian lifted her skirt. Her curvy abdomen was covered in blood. He washed it gently with water. The wound on Bingling's abdomen was no longer bleeding. However, countless fine cracks had appeared on her beautiful lower abdomen, as if a piece of jade had been smashed to the ground. Every crack was seeping with reddish blood, which couldn't be washed away. Yang Dingtian continued stuffing holy water elixir into her mouth, and then injected his mystic qi to dissolve the elixir. Bingling opened her beautiful eyes slightly and said softly, "Senior brother, don't waste it. It's useless. It's impossible that it's useless. Holy water can bring the dead back to life. In the Dongli grassland, your sea of qi also cracked, but didn't it heal? Yang Dingtian said. It's different this time. Dongfang Bingling said softly, the Dongli grassland cracked once, and today it cracked twice, and there's evil energy in my body. So it's useless. But don't worry, although my cultivation is destroyed, I won't die. I can still accompany you for a month, maybe only half a month or 10 days, because the evil energy in my body is flowing faster. Junior sister, I already have a way to cure your soul-devouring devil, Yang Dingtian said. Tian, don't lie to me to comfort me. I don't like this, Dongfang Bingling said. It's true. Yang Dingtian said, Ningru said that as long as I have Wan Wentian's tear, I can cure the soul-devouring devil. I have his tear. If you don't believe me, you can take a look. Yang Dingtian reached out and grabbed the tear-shaped accessory on his neck, injecting his mystic qi. Immediately, the beautiful tear-shaped ornament revealed its original form. It was incomparably beautiful, sparkling, and translucent, but it also revealed boundless sorrow. Oh my God! Bing Ling said with a trembling voice, this is the supreme token of evil ways. How did you get it? Ningning gave it to me. Yang Dingtian said, I don't know what her identity is. I have loved 2.5 women. The one I loved the most was you, the one I doted on the most was Yen Yen, and the other half was this mysterious and extremely good Shimin Ningning. Immediately after, Yang Dingtian pulled the tear-shaped accessory off and said, Junior sister, I will cure your soul-devouring devil now. I will cure you now. Then, what about Dugufengwu? Dongfang Bingling asked. Don't care about her, I don't care about her. Yang Dingtian said with a trembling voice, I love you, not her. She is your son's biological mother, Bingling said. Instantly, Yang Dingtian was stunned. He could ignore Dugufengwu, but he couldn't ignore his baby. At that time, Dugufengwu didn't kill Yang Dingtian for the sake of her child. Could Yang Dingtian just watch Dugufengwu die without doing anything? Yang Dingtian gritted his teeth and said, I don't care anymore. Give the baby to Dugu Aoshuang. Tell the baby that Aoshuang is his biological mother. Then, Yang Dingtian pulled the tear-shaped accessory off and was about to force it into Bing Ling's body. Bing Ling's beautiful eyes looked at Yang Dingtian with determination and gentleness. She said, Senior brother, do you love me? Yes. Yang Dingtian said. Then promise me one thing, Bing Ling said. Sure, but if you want me to give the tear-shaped accessory to Dugufengwu, then forget it. I am very selfish. Yang Dingtian said, I said before that if I can only save one between you and Yen Yen, then I will save Yen Yen. It's not that I don't love you enough, but I pity Yen Yen. I owe her the most. But if I have to choose between you and Dugufengwu, I will definitely choose you. Bing Ling said, I am very happy and sweet to hear you say that. But I want you to go back to the Temple of Blood first and look at me, Dugufengwu, and your baby before you make your choice. Okay. Yang Dingtian didn't say anything. Be my man. You have to be obedient at crucial times, Bing Ling said seriously. Yang Dingtian nodded and said, okay. Then, he put the tear-shaped accessory into his spatial ring. Carrying Bing Ling, he summoned the demon spirit ray and flew back to the Temple of Blood. After flying for more than 10 hours, Yang Dingtian carried Bing Ling and landed on the big platform of the Temple of Blood. At this moment, Dugu Shao was already waiting here. When he saw Dongfang Bingling, he was slightly startled. Then, he bowed and said, Dugu Shao from the Temple of Blood pays his respects to Fairy Dongfang. I don't dare. Bing Ling got down from Yang Dingtian's arms and returned the greeting weakly. Yinyang School's disciple, Cloud Heaven City Lord Yang Dingtian's wife, Dongfang Bingling, pays her respects to Palace Master Dugu. Seeing how Dongfang Bingling addressed herself, Dugu Shao instantly trembled and looked at Yang Dingtian with a shocked expression. Dongfang Bingling was so proud that she actually addressed herself as Yang Dingtian's wife. Then, he looked at Yang Dingtian and asked, "Did you find anything from the soul-devouring demon mystic?" Yang Dingtian nodded and said, "I found the solution." Instantly, a gaze of utter disbelief shot out from Dugu Zhao's eyes. "But between Fengwu and Bing Ling, I can only save one of them," Yang Dingtian said indifferently. Dugu Zhao trembled violently. In a secret room, there were only 4 people inside. Dugu Fengwu, Yang Dingtian, Dongfang Bingling, and the baby. Yang Dingtian was going to make an official choice. Chapter 381. Dugu Fengwu carried the baby and looked at Dongfang Bingling from head to toe. The baby saw Dongfang Bingling in its mother's arms. It turned its little face and stretched out its chubby little hands, struggling to come over. Dugu Fengwu slapped the baby's butt and said, "You heartless little thing. Mommy fed you for nothing." It would have been better if Dongfang Bingling didn't spank him. After the baby was spanked, he immediately cried and opened his arms, asking Dongfang Bingling to hug him. Dugu Fengwu was really angry, and she slapped the baby's butt with a little more force. The baby cried even harder, waving its hands at Bingling and shouting for hugs, hugs, hugs. Dugu Fengwu was so angry that she was shaking. She stuffed the baby into Bingling's arms and said, "Go, go, you little naughty thing." Bingling instinctively took the baby and couldn't help but be a little flustered. The way she carried the baby was even more unnatural than Yang Dingtian. After the baby entered Bingling's arms, it immediately stopped crying and even broke into a smile. Bingling let out a sigh of relief and gave Yang Dingtian a strange smile. Then, she tried to pat the baby gently. The baby giggled, and Bingling's face also revealed a rare gentle smile. She leaned over and tried to kiss the baby's little face. But then, Bingling was embarrassed. The baby skillfully lifted Bingling's clothes and directly looked for food. Bingling was stunned and didn't know how to react. She looked at Yang Dingtian for help. Yang Dingtian was stunned for a moment. At this moment, Bao Bao had already succeeded. Bingling's face instantly turned red, and she looked at Yang Dingtian very awkwardly. But Dugu Fengwu didn't feel comfortable looking at it. She snatched the baby and started feeding it. "If you have something to say it quickly. Otherwise, I will chase you away," Dugu Fengwu said. Yang Dingtian stepped forward and was about to speak. However, Bingling stopped him and walked in front of Yang Dingtian. She looked at Yang Dingtian and said, "Senior, let me speak." After that, Bingling looked at Dugu Fengwu and said, "The soul-devouring devil mystic can be cured. Yang Dingtian has already found the cure." "Impossible." Dugu Fengwu said, "There is no antidote to the soul-devouring devil mystic. If Yang Dingtian could find the antidote, he wouldn't be a human anymore. He would be a god." Immediately after, Dugu Fengwu narrowed her eyes and said, "Dongfang Bingling, I might have treated you as my greatest enemy, but I still admire you in my heart. But now, you've really disappointed me." Previously, Yang Dingtian kept saying that he had something to do with her, but she still said that he was bragging. Now, it seems like it's true. You are so proud and high up in my heart. Why would you even fancy Yang Dingtian? You've really disappointed me. Don't flatter yourself. You aren't fit to be my enemy in any aspect. Dongfang Bingling said indifferently, "Also, when I'm speaking, don't interrupt me. Next, I'll continue. Yang Dingtian found the antidote, but there's only one portion, and it can only save one person. However, both of us have been inflicted with the soul-devouring devil mystic. Is that so?" Dugu Fengwu looked at Yang Dingtian and said, "Yang Dingtian, then who are you going to give it to?" "To Bingling," Yang Dingtian said. Dugu Fengwu sneered and said, "As expected. But since you've come to my temple of blood, then everything is uncertain." Yang Dingtian was startled and said, "Could it be that you are going to use martial strength?" Dugu Fengwu said, "If there isn't this so-called antidote, then I can just go and die. However, there is actually one, and you even brought it with you." Then I'm sorry. I still have big dreams, and I don't want to die. Therefore, I still have to seize this antidote. With just you. Dongfang Bingling said indifferently. There's still my father. Dugu Fengwu said, Dongfang Bingling might be formidable because you seduced Yang Dingtian and got lucky. You devoured the heaven and earth mystic flame, allowing your cultivation to advance by leaps and bounds to the master level. However, in my temple of blood, the master level is nothing. If we want to kill you, it will be as easy as blowing off dust. If you know what's good for you, get Yang Dingtian to hand over the antidote, and I will let you guys leave. Yang Dingtian opened his eyes and looked at Dugu Fengwu. It was as though he was seeing her for the first time. What are you looking at? Dugu Fengwu said, I have always been like this. Don't you know? On the ship, in the mystic realm, and even in the Dongli Prairie. When have I ever shown mercy to you? You are the one who has fantasized about me after having sex with me, thinking that I have turned into another person. You are overthinking. My chi si is now completely ruptured, and I don't even have the strength to truss a chicken. Dongfang Bingling said indifferently. Is that so? Then that is really good news. Dugu Fengwu laughed. But, go and take a look. Who in your temple of blood dares to make a move on me? Dongfang Bingling said indifferently, go and ask your father, Dugu Shao. Ask him if he dares to make a move on me. Does he dare to kill me? Otherwise, do you think I will come to the temple of blood? Dugu Shao was currently outside the sealed door. He might not be able to see the situation inside, but he could hear it. After hearing Dongfang Bingling's words, he said, Young lady Dongfang must be joking. Since you came to my temple of blood, I can only treat you with respect. Dugu Fengwu's expression instantly turned unpleasant as she asked coldly, why? If I dare to kill young lady Dongfang here, then the temple of blood will be destroyed in less than a month. Dugu Shao said, outside, we are all enemies, and we can do anything. However, we cannot do so in the temple of blood. Dugu Fengwu was so infuriated that she was trembling. I told you not to interrupt me. Dongfang Bingling said coldly, originally, this soul-devouring devil mystic crystal was not meant for you. Since senior brother wants to give it to me, I must have it too. However, the situation has changed. My chi si is ruptured, and my cultivation is destroyed. Therefore, I will give this crystal to you. Yang Dingtian was about to stop but was stopped by Bing Ling continued, Palace Lord Dugu Fengwu, promise me 2 conditions. I will give this crystal to Dugu Fengwu so that she can live on. Young lady Dongfang, please speak. Dugu Shao said. The first condition is that from tonight onwards, my senior brother will have nothing to do with Dugu Fengwu. My senior brother will completely cut off all ties with evil ways. No matter what happens in the future, do not look for him. No matter what information you have on him, destroy it all. Dongfang Bingling said. You don't have to say this. Dugu Fengwu said, we have nothing to do with him. I am not done. Dongfang Bingling said, also, this baby is Yang Dingtian's son. From today onwards, he will have nothing to do with you, Dugu Fengwu, the temple of blood, or evil ways. We are going to bring him back to Cloud Heaven City. In the future, his mother will be Shimin Yan or me, and not you, Dugu Fengwu. Once this statement was out, Dugu Fengwu's expression instantly changed as she said, dream on. I will kill all of you, you slut. If you don't agree to this condition, then there is no need for further discussion. Dugu Fengwu, you can either become a succubus or die. Dongfang Bingling said indifferently. Instantly, there was silence in the hall. Outside, Dugu Zhao's hurried and heavy breathing could be heard. It was obvious that he was in the midst of a difficult decision. Then, what is the second condition? Dugu Zhao asked. If you don't agree to this condition, then there is no need to ask about the following conditions. Dongfang Bingling said resolutely, I will count to 3. If you don't agree, then we will leave immediately. 1, 2, 3. Without giving the other party any time to hesitate or think, Dongfang Bingling used her fastest speed to count to 3. After counting, Dongfang Bingling pulled Yang Dingtian's hand and was about to leave. "Hold on." Dugu Xiao yelled out to stop Dongfang Bingling. His voice then turned extremely bitter as he said, all right. I agree." "No." Dugu Fengwu cried out hoarsely, "This is my child, my baby. I will kill whoever wants to snatch him away. I don't care who that person is." Dugu Xiao said indifferently, "The baby went to Cloud Heaven City to follow his father. He isn't willing to be involved with our evil ways. We didn't lose the baby, and the baby will still be happy. But if you die, the Temple of Blood will lose you completely. I don't want the antidote. Return the baby to me." Dugu Fengwu cried out. Dongfang Bingling shook her head resolutely and said, "Actually, if you want to be the baby's mother again, there is a way. You know the way, but are you willing to do it?" Finishing her statement, Dongfang Bingling and Aoshuang walked out. The stone door closed with a rumble. In the stone house, only Yang Dingtian and Dugu Fengwu were left. What did Dongfang Bingling mean by the last sentence? Dugu Fengwu asked. "You have another identity. You are 7 Refined Lane's third Lady Gongsun." Yang Dingtian said, "If you enter the Cloud Heaven City with this identity, you will completely draw a line with the Temple of Blood and become a member of the Tiando League. Then, not only can you survive, but you can also become the baby's mother again. In your dreams." Dugu Fengwu reprimanded coldly and spat her saliva on Yang Dingtian's face. "Yang Dingtian, in your dreams." Dugu Fengwu sneered and said, "You want me to leave the Temple of Blood? In your dreams. You want me to marry you? In your dreams." Yang Dingtian gently wiped off the saliva on his face. "Come, get rid of my soul-devouring devil mystic." Dugu Fengwu looked at Yang Dingtian and said coldly, "Let me tell you. From now on, I will use any means to become stronger. I only have one goal, and that is to use my own strength to flatten the Cloud Heaven City and openly take back my child. Yang Dingtian, remember this. Remember this." Dugu Fengwu approached Yang Dingtian step by step. "Don't worry. When the time comes, I will not kill you. I will cripple your martial arts and turn you into a cripple because the baby needs a father. I will completely flatten your Cloud Sky City. I will kill every single person in your Cloud Sky City to avenge the humiliation of today's battle for the throne. Trash, trash. Yang Dingtian, you are a piece of trash." Dugu Fengwu pointed at Yang Dingtian's nose and said coldly, "You will do whatever Dongfang Bingling says. You are a good-for-nothing. You are such a useless man, and you want me to use my identity as Third Lady Gongsun to marry you? In your dreams. I will never fancy you in my entire life." Yang Dingtian looked at Dugu Fengwu's beautiful face and said, "You tried to kill me again and again. As for me, I once pierced through your chest with my sword and slapped you in the face. Today, I even snatched the baby from your hands and humiliated you. I am here to apologize to you." Yang Dingtian bent over and bowed. "I used to despise the Tiando League and didn't have any enmity towards evil ways. I felt that we were on the same side and that evil ways weren't necessarily evil. Therefore, I didn't have any prejudice against the Temple of Blood and evil ways. But now, I have changed my mind. The Tiando League might be trash, but evil ways are definitely evil and can be killed and destroyed. I will also eliminate the Temple of Annihilation and eliminate evil ways as my life's goal. My child is my flesh and blood, and I will never allow the day to come when my son and I are at each other's throats. In order to avoid this tragedy and to prevent my child from being destroyed along with the Temple of Blood, I have to take him. Therefore, I have to bring him away." Yang Dingtian stated. "Bah!" Dugu Fengwu spat at Yang Dingtian again and said coldly, "What is your Tiando League? The one that needs to be destroyed and exterminated is your Cloud Heaven City, not my Temple of Blood. What is your Tiando League? At least I don't have a master above me. Yang Dingtian stared at Dugu Fengwu and said coldly, "Your father is so arrogant and is a world-renowned devil. He is so unruly and powerful. But does he dare to go against the Temple of Annihilation's young lord? When you were destroyed in the hands of that bastard, does he dare to go against you? Does he dare to look for that bastard and seek justice for you?" Dugu Fengwu was instantly speechless. "I dare." Yang Dingtian roared, "I dare to say that there will be a day when I will dismember the Temple of Annihilation's young lord into pieces. I will completely destroy the Temple of Annihilation. The only things that can suppress me are morality, responsibility, and emotions. I don't have a master above me. Even if the hidden sect patriarch harmed my family, I will still chop off his head. You, Dugu Fengwu, you don't know anything." Yang Dingtian pointed at Dugu Fengwu and said coldly, "This is also the reason why I brought my son away." Dugu Fengwu's face instantly turned pale, and her delicate body trembled. Afterward, her slightly scattered eyes gathered hatred again as she said, "I don't care about this. I will only remember that you snatched my child away today. You humiliated me today, and I will return it 100-fold. Up to you." Yang Dingtian sneered and said. Afterward, Yang Dingtian took out a tear crystal from his spatial ring. It was a beautiful, mysterious, and sorrowful tear crystal. "Circulate your mystic qi," Yang Dingtian said. Dugu Fengwu circulated her mystic qi. In an instant, a beautiful and strange blue radiance gradually covered Dugu Fengwu's delicate body. It was like the most beautiful tattoo, mysterious and gorgeous. The beautiful blue patterns gradually extended from the soles of her feet all the way up. It was like the most mysterious runes were slowly growing on Dugu Fengwu's body. From the soles of her feet to her thighs, to her waist, to her chest, and all the way to her neck. The only part that wasn't covered by the blue patterns was her head. These blue patterns were the evil spirit energy of the soul-devouring devil mystic. Once the evil spirit energy completely occupied her head, Dugu Fengwu's soul spirit and willpower would be completely controlled, and she would completely turn into a succubus. She would have her own thoughts, but she would completely lose her willpower and control of her body. Summoning the mystic fire, he burned the tear crystal. In an instant, the tear crystal dissipated in the air, disappearing bit by bit and turning into mist. Finally, the entire tear crystal disappeared completely. A lump of snow-white mist revolved in the air and gradually formed a face. It was the face of an extremely handsome and gentle man that was filled with magical power. Without a doubt, he was the Lord of the Temple of Annihilation, the evil king that almost destroyed the entire world 200 years ago, Wan Wentian. However, this Wan Wentian formed by the snow-white mist didn't look like someone from the evil Tao. Instead, he was snow-white and radiant, like a celestial being. Seeing Wan Wentian's face, Dugu Fengwu was startled, and her beautiful eyes revealed a look of disbelief. At this moment, the evil spirit energy on Dugu Fengwu's body sensed this snow-white sorrowful energy and instantly became extremely terrified. In an instant, the entire room suddenly turned dark. In the air, there were extremely horrifying and strange cries and hisses. This sound was as though it came from the netherworld, and it was completely chilling. The surrounding air instantly turned gloomy and cold. The evil spirit energy instantly enveloped the entire stone cave. It was incomparably malevolent and tyrannical. Right at this moment, the white mist formed Wan Wentian's face, and there was a trace of sorrow on his face. Swish! A streak of white energy left Wan Wentian's face and flew towards the malevolent and frenzied evil spirit energy. Creak! There was a horrifying scream. There was a flash of white light. The snow-white sorrowful energy instantly flew into the evil spirit energy. There was a slight flash of white light, and this sorrowful snow-white energy instantly disappeared without a trace. As for the evil spirit energy, it was also turned into ashes. Immediately after, another streak of white light flew out from Wan Wentian's face and rushed into the evil spirit energy. There was another flash of white light and another sharp hissing sound. A corner of the evil spirit pattern was turned into ashes again. At the same time, Wan Wentian's sorrowful snow-white face was also gradually dimming. Yang Dingtian finally knew how this tear crystal was used to undo the soul-devouring demon Mysterious. It was self-destruction, a way to perish together with the evil spirit energy. It rushed over again and again, perishing together and melting the evil spirit energy again and again, time elapsed by second by second. The dark blue stripes on Dugu Fengwu's body were getting smaller and fainter. That extremely horrifying energy was also getting fainter. The white light formed Wan Wentian's face, which was also getting fainter and fainter. Swish, there was a final collision. For the last time, they would perish together. For the last time, they would melt. The evil spirit stripes on Dugu Fengwu's feet had vanished without a trace. The evil king's face formed by the snow-white light had already become extremely weak. It then shook violently and completely dissipated in the air. At the moment when it dissipated, Yang Dingtian could clearly see that the sorrowful and gentle face had instantly revealed a trace of a smile. It was a smile of relief. Your soul-devouring demon Mysterious has been removed. Yang Dingtian said, I will take my leave now. From today onwards, you and I have nothing to do with each other. After that, Yang Dingtian turned and walked out. Suddenly, there was a gust of wind from behind. Dugu Fengwu hugged Yang Dingtian from behind, and even tears flowed down from her eyes. Note, the second update has been delivered. Requesting for support and monthly votes. Chapter 382. Dugu Fengwu hugged onto Yang Dingtian from the back. What's wrong? Yang Dingtian asked. Yang Dingtian, I lied earlier. Dugu Fengwu said, when I said that I didn't love you, it was a lie. When I said that I wouldn't kill you because of the baby, it was also a lie. Yang Dingtian's heart softened as he said, if you are willing, you can go to Cloud Heaven City anytime and continue to be the baby's mother. No, there is no more chance. Dugu Fengwu turned around and kissed Yang Dingtian's lips with her red lips. There was a surge of heat, a surge of sweetness, and a surge of bitterness because of tears. After a few minutes, Dugu Fengwu left Yang Dingtian's lips. It's too late. Dugu Fengwu sobbed and said, from today onwards, my love for you has completely ended. It has turned into complete hatred. Yang Dingtian, you shouldn't have saved me. You shouldn't have gone to find the antidote for the soul-devouring demon mystic. If you didn't save my life and stayed here to accompany me for the last 5 days before letting me die in your arms, I would have been happy and sweet for the rest of my life. Dugu Fengwu said, however, you brought back Wan Wentian's tear crystal and continued your omnipotent performance. Originally, you didn't intend to save me because it was useless on Dongfang Bingling. Therefore, you took a step back and gave it to me. This was the first humiliation and injury that you inflicted on me. After that, you snatched the baby away from me and made Dongfang Bingling his mother. This was the second humiliation. I kept saying that I didn't love you and that I didn't like you. I wanted to be especially proud at all times, but you brought a woman who was more beautiful, outstanding, and proud than me to me. You seemed to be mocking me. Even the 9 Heavens Fairy, Dongfang Bingling, loved me. You, Dugu Fengwu, were nothing. This was the third humiliation and injury that you inflicted on me. From now on, I will do everything I can to make myself stronger. I will use my blood to avenge today's humiliation. One day, I will return to your Cloud Heaven City and personally take back my baby. Dugu Fengwu kissed Yang Dingtian's lips. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian felt his lips heat up and his mouth taste salty. It was Dugu Fengwu who bit her lips, allowing her blood to flow into Yang Dingtian's mouth. Yang Dingtian, please remember the hurt and humiliation you've caused me today. Goodbye. After that, Dugu Fengwu pushed Yang Dingtian. When Yang Dingtian, Dongfang Bingling, and Dugu Aoshuang left with Bao Bao, Dugu Shaoan never appeared again. The 3 of them rode on the demonic spirit ray with Bao Bao and flew towards Cloud Sky City. Dugu Aoshuang hugged Bao Bao and resisted the urge to turn her head to look at the Temple of Blood. She hated this place, but it was her home after all, the place where she grew up. Aoshuang, if I wasn't forced, I would never let Bao Bao leave his mother, and neither would I let you leave home. Yang Dingtian said, the young lord of the Temple of Annihilation has already appeared, and we are one step closer to the battle of extinction. As the core power of the evil ways, the Temple of Blood will be the first wave of impact. I don't know how such evil ways will pollute the Temple of Blood, but I don't want my child to stay under the evil claws of the Temple of Annihilation. Dugu Aoshuang nodded and hugged Bao Bao tightly. She said gently, I am very happy to be able to leave this place. After reaching Cloud Sky City, find me a corner where no one knows and send me food and clothes regularly. I will then be able to take good care of Bao Bao and live a very happy life. No. Yang Dingtian said, if that's the case, how is it different from staying in the Temple of Blood? I will arrange for you to stay in Sister Shiman Ningning's valley. There are many small animals there, and the scenery in Cloud Sky City is very beautiful. Ordinary people won't go in, but Yan Yan, Madam Shiman, and the others will often go there to play with you. No, I will scare them, Dugu Aoshuang said. How is that possible? You are underestimating Yan Yan, Yang Dingtian said. The demon spirit ray flew further and further away. Yang Dingtian's demon spirit ray flew to the sky above Cloud Sky City and landed in Ningning's valley the next day. Along the way, Bao Bao cried twice and asked for milk from his mother. Aoshuang didn't dare to take off her clothes to feed Bao Bao because she had scales all over her body. Seeing Bao Bao crying so sadly, Bingling hesitated for a long time before carrying Bao Bao. In the end, Bao Bao stopped crying and skillfully took off Bingling's clothes. Not long after, he fell asleep. But in his sleep, Bao Bao really cried a few times. As he cried, he vaguely called for his mother. In reality, he still didn't know that he had left his mother. But in his sleep, this situation was even more clearly reflected. Hearing Bao Bao crying for his mother in his sleep, Yang Dingtian's heart ached and he instantly felt even more apologetic. He even had the urge to fly back to the Temple of Blood and return Bao Bao to Fengwu. Senior brother, it was also Palace Master Dugu's idea to bring Bao Bao back to Cloud Sky City, Dongfang Bingling suddenly said. If he doesn't agree, we won't be able to bring Bao Bao back. In the entire Tiando League, Palace Master Dugu doesn't fear anyone. The reason why he agreed to let us bring Bao Bao back was because he also had the same idea. He already felt the danger, so he didn't want Bao Bao to stay. Even if we just left, he would chase Dugu Fengwu away and then set up a tombstone for Dugu Fengwu to tell everyone that Dugu Fengwu had committed suicide. Once she said that, Yang Dingtian was instantly stunned. And Aoshuang. Palace Master Dugu is very cold to her. However, Palace Master Dugu is completely aware of Aoshuang's uniqueness. I am sure that Aoshuang is a very important person who might be extremely powerful in the future. However, Palace Master Dugu allowed you to bring her away, which only proves that Palace Master Dugu already had this idea. Otherwise, no one in the world would be able to force him to agree to anything, Dongfang Bingling said. All along, he has been very different from the other leaders of the evil ways. After hearing Dongfang Bingling's words, Yang Dingtian couldn't help but turn to look at the Temple of Blood. The entire mountain of blood was enveloped in a ball of blood fog, and Yang Dingtian could feel that this blood fog seemed to be getting thicker. It was gradually turning from red to black. Inside the Temple of Blood. Fengwu, lift the blanket on the bed, Dugu Xiao said. Dugu Fengwu went forward and lifted the blanket on the bed before exclaiming. On the ice bed, there was a dead woman lying on it. This woman's face was almost identical to Dugu Fengwu's. Of course, because she was already dead, her expression was frozen and ice-cold. She didn't have Dugu Fengwu's unique charm, personality, and arrogance. This face was personally sculpted by me. Of course, it was because it was a dead person that it could be sculpted so similarly. It is easy to become ugly, but difficult to become beautiful. Especially when your face has such an arrogant personality. It can only be sculpted on a dead person's face. Dugu Xiao said, 3 days later, this corpse will be displayed in front of everyone. After that, I will announce to the world that Dugu Fengwu is already dead. I will hold a huge funeral for you and then burn this corpse. From today onwards, you will completely disappear from this world. This world will no longer have a person called Dugufengwu. Do you understand? Dugufengwu nodded in astonishment. Because you have already been inflicted with the soul-devouring devil mystic, and there is no cure. You will either die or become a succubus. If the people from the Temple of Annihilation know that your soul-devouring devil mystic has been cured, not only will you die, but Yang Dingtian will also die. Even Bao Bao will. Dugu Shao said, I don't know how Yang Dingtian obtained the tear crystal, but once anyone knows that the tear crystal is in his hands, the Tiando League will not ask for a reason and will directly dismember him into pieces, grind his bones, and scatter his ashes. The Temple of Annihilation will capture him and send him to the 18 levels of hell. Dugufengwu nodded and said, I don't mind losing this identity. As long as I can stay by your side, even if it is an unremarkable identity, I will be willing to endure it. No, you cannot stay in the Temple of Blood. If you want to leave, you can never return, Dugu Shao said coldly. Dugufengwu was appalled and hissed, Why? The Temple of Blood will soon be reduced to hell. Dugu Shao said, I am a great devil, so I don't have a choice. Born as a member of the evil Dao, dead as a ghost of the evil Dao. But you are different, and Bao Bao is even more so. This time, you were inflicted with the soul-devouring devil mystic, and it was cured by Yang Dingtian. This is a heaven-sent opportunity for you. It is a good opportunity for you to truly free yourself. You can finally break free from the shackles of evil ways. So what if it is evil ways? So what if it is evil ways? Dugufengwu immediately cried out, What is the Tiando League? What is Dongfang Bingling? What is Yang Dingtian? I am evil ways, and I am proud of it. I am amazing. Fool. Dugu Shao shook his head helplessly and said, You are still young and don't understand the truth of this world. In this world, the most tragic people are the people of evil ways. They are destined to sink into hell. It is still fine during the 200 years of peace, as they can still drag out an ignoble existence. But after the 200 years of peace, when the world-ending battle comes, they will completely turn into devils. So what? Everything is just about the winner taking all. The reason why the Tiando League is so open and aboveboard is because it has defeated the world-ending army of evil ways several times. This time, our evil ways will do well and completely eliminate the Tiando League. We will completely trample Dongfang Bingling and Yang Dingtian under our feet. From now on, we are the ones who are open and aboveboard. Dugufengwu said, What Cloud Heaven City? What Yinyang School? Let them all become evil ways. Such childish words. Dugu Shao said, Do you hate Yang Dingtian? Yes, I hate him to the bone. I will never forget today's humiliation, Dugufengwu said. Good, then remember today's hatred and think of ways to become stronger. Let yourself be at the top again and trample Yang Dingtian under your feet, Dugu Shao said. Dugufengwu was instantly fired up and couldn't wait to practice martial arts crazily. After trampling Yang Dingtian under your feet, you will avenge today's humiliation. Dugu Shao said. That's right, you must avenge this humiliation. Dugufengwu said. Then, you will ride on his neck and say, Yang Dingtian, listen to me clearly. From now on, I will have the final say in this family. If I tell you to go east, you will go east. If I tell you to go west, you will go west. If I tell you to catch a chicken, you will not chase a dog away. Do you hear me? Dugu Shao said seriously. Dugufengwu was originally fired up, but after hearing Dugu Xiao's words, she instantly lost all her momentum. She glared at Dugu Shao and said, Father, how can you say that? From now on, Yang Dingtian and I are irreconcilable. Don't say such things. I don't like it. What's so great about a couple quarreling? What's so great about that? Dugu Shao said, I think Yang Dingtian is a good son-in-law. Other than being a little fickle and childish, he is still alright. You don't have to say anymore. From now on, there is only hatred between him and me. There is nothing else. Dugu Fengwu said resolutely. Good, good. There's only hatred. Dugu Xiao continued, make your preparations. Tonight, you can leave. After that, Dugu Xiao took out a mask and said, this is an illusion mask. It is exactly the same as the real face. No one will be able to recognize it. From now on, you are this person and not Dugu Fengwu. No. I am not leaving. I want to be with father forever. Dugu Fengwu said loudly and then looked at Dugu Xiao with wide eyes. Of course you are leaving, and you will never be able to come back. Now, even your mother thinks that you are dead. In this world, there are only 4 people who know that Dugu Fengwu is still alive. Me, Dongfang Bingling, Yang Dingtian, and Dugu Aoshuang. Dugu Xiao said, even you don't know that you are still alive. Later, I will use my spiritual technique to completely erase your memories and put on a mask for you. In the future, even you won't know that you are Dugu Fengwu. Instantly, Dugu Fengwu's beautiful eyes revealed a horrified expression. She immediately knelt on the ground and begged, no, father. Please don't. I have already lost Bao Bao. I cannot lose father as well. No, you didn't lose Bao Bao. Bao Bao will be very happy in Cloud Heaven City. You also didn't lose me. No matter who you become, I will still love you. Dugu Xiao laughed and said. He then covered Dugu Fengwu's head with his palm and said slowly, even if you don't recognize me in the future, or even draw your sword to kill me, I will still love you. Dugu Fengwu's tears surged out. Her beautiful face was pale and colorless. She looked at Dugu Xiao with horror and cried desperately and begged desperately. Father, don't. Even if I die, I want to be with you. Please don't, silly child. Dugu Xiao laughed and said, every bad father wishes for their child to become a good person. Afterward, a ray of light shot out from Dugu Xiao's palm and enveloped Dugu Fengwu's head. Dugu Fengwu's beautiful eyes were in a daze, and the last teardrop fell. No, father, Dugu Xiao's eyes trembled slightly, and the corners of his eyes were slightly moist. Afterward, his eyes suddenly shot out intense rays of light, which directly pierced into Dugu Fengwu's eyes. Countless amounts of mental energy poured into Dugu Fengwu's brain. 4 hours later, a cold jade coffin floated out from the bottom of the empty 10,000 blood. It was at the bottom of the river of ecstasy and was heading downstream. Inside, there was a completely unfamiliar woman lying down. Immediately after, everyone in the Temple of 10,000 Blood received a shocking piece of news. Dugu Fengwu had committed suicide. Dongfang Bingling didn't follow Yang Dingtian back to Cloud Heaven City. Instead, she stayed in a small house on a mountain peak that was a few miles away from Cloud Heaven City. Yang Dingtian brought Dugu Aoshuang and Bao Bao and landed in Cloud Heaven City's Ningning Valley. However, the first one to welcome Yang Dingtian wasn't Yan Yan or anyone else. It was the floating spirit ray, Ningning's beautiful ray. When Yang Dingtian's devil spirit ray landed, the beautiful ray immediately rushed out. Yang Dingtian originally thought that they were going to be intimate, but who knew that when Yang Dingtian, Dugu Aoshuang, and Bao Bao came down, the beautiful ray immediately pounced on them and bit them. Wow, I didn't expect that the beautiful ray had always been mischievous and obedient. Why was it so fierce now? Yang Dingtian got a shock and hurriedly came over to stop it. One had to know that the devil spirit ray's body was more than twice the size of the beautiful ray, and its energy level was also much higher. In terms of fighting, the devil spirit ray could tear the beautiful ray into pieces with one claw. This Yao Yao was Ningning's beloved mount. If it died under the claws of the devil spirit ray, Yang Dingtian would have sinned greatly. Yang Dingtian hurriedly rushed over to stop it. But to his surprise, the beautiful Yao Yao pounced on the demon skate and bit it, but the huge and ferocious demon skate just stood there obediently and let Yao Yao bite it. It lowered its head and didn't even resist, let alone fight back. This devil spirit ray was very fierce and didn't treat Yang Dingtian nicely along the way. Now, it was actually so cowardly. But soon, young Ding Tian saw it clearly. This devil spirit ray was looking at the floating spirit ray, Yao Yao, with flattering eyes while being beaten. Yao Yao was a female ray, and the devil spirit ray was a male ray. This devil spirit ray fell in love with Yao Yao at first sight, so it didn't resist at all. Yao Yao tore off a pile of the devil spirit ray's fur and scratched its face several times. Only then did she vent her anger. She snorted at Yang Dingtian unhappily and flew away arrogantly. It turned out that she was angry that Yang Dingtian had changed his mount because he liked the new and got tired of the old. After the floating spirit ray flew away, the devil spirit ray immediately chased after it. The floating spirit ray turned around and glared at it. The devil spirit ray immediately froze in the air and stopped flapping its wings. Then, it fell straight from the sky. The floating spirit ray immediately laughed out loud and flew away even more proudly. Yang Dingtian was amazed. This devil spirit ray was really an expert at picking up girls. First, it didn't fight back at all. Second, it pretended to be stupid and confused. Brother. As soon as Yan Yan heard the noise in the valley, she ran over as fast as she could and threw herself into Yang Dingtian's arms. But halfway through, she saw Dugu Aoshuang. Seeing Ao Shuang's proud and undulating body curves, Yan Yan was like a little peacock. All the hair on her body stood up, and she raised her chest and buttocks, making her curves curvy like a devil. Then, she walked to Yang Dingtian and held his arm. She said gently, "Husband, who is this?" Her words were naturally filled with hostility and grievance. "I, Shiman Yan Yan, am gentle and virtuous. Dongfang Bingling has a marriage agreement, and I accept it. Qin Jiao Jiao, that silly girl, because of the marriage alliance, I can understand. But husband, don't go overboard. He actually brought back another woman, and her figure was extremely good. She was the kind that almost stole my limelight." Immediately after, Yan Yan saw the baby in the woman's arms. Her delicate body stiffened and trembled slightly. She said timidly, "Husband, this baby, who is it?" Yang Dingtian said, "It's mine and Dugu Fengwu's." "Dugu Fengwu? That demonic woman who wanted to kill you a few times?" Yan Yan said, then she is Dugu Fengwu. She is Dugu Aoshuang, Dugu Fengwu's twin sister." Yang Dingtian said, "I went to the Temple of Blood and brought the baby back from Dugu Fengwu." "You snatched it back?" Yan Yan's heart softened. Even though she had never been a mother, there was no girl in the world who wanted to be a mother more than her. Therefore, she immediately felt the pain of having her baby snatched away. "And something like that." Yang Dingtian nodded and said, "But the Temple of Blood's calamity is coming. I can't let Dugu Fengwu leave the Temple of Blood, so I snatched the baby back. Aoshuang, you will take care of the baby in the future." I will take care of it. Isn't it good?" Yan Yan said softly. "The baby has always been taken care of by Aoshuang, and it is better for Aoshuang to leave the Temple of Blood." Yang Dingtian said, "Yan Yan, you have to take care of Aoshuang in the future." Yan Yan's eyes were filled with tears as she nodded and said, "I will. I will treat her as a sister, just like Jiao Jiao." After saying that, Yan Yan still glared at Yang Dingtian with grievance. "Aoshuang is different from you." Yang Dingtian sighed and said, "She might accompany the baby for a period of time, but I feel that she won't stay in our Cloud Heaven City for long. One day, she will be the kind of person who will completely shock the entire world. Do you understand what I am saying? I won't leave this place." Aoshuang said gently, "And Madam Yan Yan, I have nothing to do with Yang Dingtian. I am only here to take care of the baby." Then, Aoshuang hesitated for a moment before removing the veil on her face, revealing a face full of scales. She said in a mournful voice, "With my appearance, which man would dare to want me?" Seeing Dugu Aoshuang's scaly face, Yan Yan was stunned at first. Then, she broke free from Yang Dingtian's hand and rushed in front of Aoshuang. She reached out to touch Aoshuang's face and said in surprise, "Sister, did you grow this?" Shuang hid in fear and then nodded uneasily. Wow, so cool. Yan said, I have been dreaming since I was young that I am actually the last race left behind by the Naga race in this world. One day, the scales of the Naga race will appear on my body. Then, I will shock the world and make the entire world bow down to me. Ugh! Shuang was speechless. Then, Yan touched the scales on her face. Sister, do you have them all over your body? Yan asked. Shuang nodded instinctively. Wow, that must be very dazzling. Sister, can you let me see? Yan said. Alright. Shuang said timidly. That kind of fear and uneasiness disappeared in Yan's incomparably familiar and strange worldview. Then, Shuang said softly, Madam Yan, do you want to hug the baby? Yan's beautiful eyes suddenly became timid. Looking at the baby's big eyes and pink, jade-like chubby face, her hands actually became weak. He turned his head and said to Yang Dingtian, Husband, I say every day that I want to have a baby. I say every day that I love the baby. But the baby is in front of me, and I'm actually a little scared. Then, would it be fake for me to say that I love the baby? Yang Dingtian shook his head and said, It's because of love that I'm afraid. Yan carefully carried the baby and carefully sniffed the baby's scent. The love and gentleness in her beautiful eyes became more and more overflowing. Husband, I've decided that I won't give birth to a new baby until the baby is 3 years old. I only love this and only bring this. Yan looked at Yang Dingtian. From now on, he is my own. Then, she added, Of course, when Dugu Fengwu comes one day, I won't fight with her. Yang Dingtian smiled and caressed her face, saying, You and Shuang stay here and talk. I'll go pay my respects to my mother-in-law. Alright. Yan said. After Yang Dingtian walked out, Yan said, Oh right, husband, this baby, how did you and Dugu Fengwu give birth to it? Yang Dingtian hesitated for a moment, then said, She killed me in order to feel at ease, so. She pushed me, and then she had a baby. Wow! She's so powerful. Yan said. Then, she asked, Where's Dongfang Bingling? Why didn't I see her? Is she alright? She's fine. I'll tell you later. Yang Dingtian asked, Is there anything else? Yan said, Oh, right. There's someone who claims to be Qin Chichi's fiancé and the master of the Ning clan in the South Sea. He's here to look for you. Sha Wuming. Yang Dingtian's hair stood on end. The bastard Sha Wuming who indirectly destroyed Dongfang Bingling's Sea of Qi, killed Ning Bai in Shui, raped his sister-in-law, and took over his sister. That lowly illegitimate son who was treated sincerely by Ning Ru and relied on in life and death, but destroyed everything Ning Ru had. Sha Wuming, who he couldn't wait to tear into pieces, actually became Qin Chichi's fiancé. He actually came to Cloud Heaven City to look for him. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian flew into Cloud Heaven City. Chapter 383. Sha Wuming. More accurately, it was Ning Wuming now. Sha Wuming was the common name of the illegitimate children in the South Sea. It meant that this illegitimate child was very lowly. He was like sand on the ground that was stepped on by everyone. Wuming naturally meant that he didn't have a name. Of course. When Yang Dingtian pretended to be the successor of the hidden sect, he was also named Wuming. However, when it came to the successor of the hidden sect, the name Wuming seemed very high-end and mysterious. Currently, Sha Wuming of the South Sea Ning clan had officially returned to the clan and changed his name to Ning Wuming. In the meeting hall of Cloud Sky City, Yang Dingtian saw this person. To be honest, this person was beyond Yang Dingtian's imagination. This person didn't look despicable at all. Instead, he looked elegant and indifferent. Even compared to Ning Lu, he looked more like a noble young master. He might not be as handsome as Ning Lu, but he might be more charming than Ning Lu. This was because his long and bright eyes were very focused and serious at all times. Especially his eyebrows, they looked as if they were really cut out by a knife. They were even more exquisite than a woman's eyebrows. When Yang Dingtian entered, he was talking to Madame Shimin. That gaze and that expression seemed to be full of admiration for Madame Shimin. However, he didn't have any intention to profane her. This kind of man was simply a natural lecher. He was romantic but not vulgar. Yang Dingtian went forward and knelt down in front of Madame Shimin. "Greetings, mother-in-law. Little Tian, you're back." Madame Shimin went forward and helped Yang Dingtian up. She didn't avoid suspicion and pulled Yang Dingtian's hand. She pointed at Ning Wuming and said, "Little Tian, let me introduce you. This is the young master of the South Sea Ning clan, the fiancé of Qin Chichi from the northwest Qin city, Ning Wuming." Ning Wuming quickly went forward and bowed in front of Yang Dingtian. "Little brother Ning Wuming greets brother-in-law." Instantly, Yang Dingtian came back to his senses. That's right. Qin Chichi was Jiao Jiao's younger sister. Therefore, Sha Wuming called Yang Dingtian brother-in-law. "Greetings, young Master Ning." Yang Dingtian returned the greeting. "Your Ning clan is tens of thousands of miles away. How could you have the time to visit my Cloud Heaven city? Speaking of which, I feel really guilty. A few months ago, Chi-Chi and I met by chance in the southwest continent. It was love at first sight, and we pledged our lives to each other. She had matters to attend to in the southwest and couldn't leave, so I officially went to the northwest Qin city to propose marriage. In the end, when I arrived at Qin city, I found out that senior marshal brother Yang and sister Jiao had gotten married. When I rushed to Qin city, the two of you had already left. Therefore, after staying in Qin city for a few days, I came to Cloud Sky City to visit brother-in-law and present my wedding gift. Young Master Ning's gift is unimaginably precious," Madame Shimin said beside Yang Dingtian. "Yang Dingtian, thank you so much. Have you seen Jiao Jiao?" "Not yet," Ning Wuming said. "That's great. I'll hold a small banquet at noon. Jiao Jiao and I will treat you together," Yang Dingtian said. "Thank you, brother-in-law. Sorry for disturbing you." At noon, Yang Dingtian, Madame Shimin, Yan Yan, and Jiao Jiao accompanied Ning Wuming for lunch. Qin Susu and Mu Liani waited on the side. When Yang Dingtian went to call Jiao Jiao, she ignored him and said that she didn't want to come. In the end, she still came. After she came, she only cared about picking and choosing the dishes on the table and ignored Ning Wuming, her future brother-in-law. As for Yan Yan, her mind was completely focused on the baby in the small valley, so she was completely absent-minded at the dining table. Although they were eating at the same table, they still strictly separated the dishes. The chopsticks and spoons used to pick the food were completely separated from the chopsticks and spoons used to eat the food. Therefore, there was no indirect contact. Ning Wuming seemed to be very cultured. His every move was much more noble than Yang Dingtian's. Yang Dingtian often forgot about it and used his own chopsticks to pick the food. "Young Lord Ning, I heard that your Ning clan wants my husband's yin-yang reincarnation crystal." Qin Jiao Jiao suddenly said, "Did you come this time to ask my husband for it?" When she said this, Yang Dingtian was slightly startled. When Ning Wuming heard this, he immediately put down his jade chopsticks and said, "Big sister, you must be joking." Previously, the Ning clan of the South Sea was competing for the yin-yang reincarnation crystal. Because at that time, I also didn't become Qin Cheng's son-in-law. But now, City Lord Yang and I have become in-laws. How can I ask for the yin-yang reincarnation crystal? I came today to make up for my rudeness of not being able to attend big sister and brother-in-law's wedding. Qin Jiao Jiao was 23 years old this year. Among all of Qin Wanchou's daughters, she wasn't the oldest and could only be ranked third. However, Qin Wanchou only had 3 legitimate daughters. In a wealthy clan like Qin Cheng, legitimate daughters were the eldest. Therefore, Qin Chichi, who was also a legitimate daughter, addressed Qin Zhaojiao as Big Sister. "It's best if you're not here for the yin-yang reincarnation crystal," Qin Zhaojiao said. Qin Zhaojiao said, then ignored Ning Wuming and ordered Qin Susu to pick up this dish for her. In any case, she would let Qin Susu snatch whatever food Yan Yan liked. Mu Lianyi couldn't stand it and helped Yan Yan snatch the food. In the end, the table was filled with smoke. Madame Shimin acted as if she didn't see anything. Yang Dingtian could only pretend that he didn't see anything. In any case, the two of them didn't quarrel in front of outsiders. After the meal, Yang Dingtian and Ning Wuming were alone. "Young Lord Ning, what's the matter now?" "You can speak now," Yang Dingtian said. "I'm fine. I'm just here to pass on a few words for Chi-Chi," Ning Wuming said. "Speak," Yang Dingtian said. "Duan Ruyan has returned to the Sky Phoenix Pavilion in the southwest mainland. Leng Yanmei has been removed from the position of Sky Phoenix Pavilion Master. Her cultivation has been crippled and she has been locked in the dungeon," Ning Wuming said. Then, Sky Phoenix Pavilion has returned to its conservative and isolated strategy. Thus, Chi-Chi's achievements in the southwest mainland have been mostly destroyed. Yang Dingtian didn't deny it. "Chi-Chi knows that all of this is your doing, brother-in-law," Ning Wuming said. "Of course, she's very willing to understand you. You did this because you had no choice but to compromise. You had no choice but to form an alliance with Qin Huayu to protect Cloud Sky City. In fact, you and Qin Huayu have a deep hatred. She said that she admires your courage and magnanimity." Yang Dingtian said, "Then thank her for me. Also, Chi-Chi has something that she needs your help with," Ning Wuming said. "If you're willing to help, then she will never do anything to Cloud Sky City and will give you an extremely precious gift." "What is it? You need my help?" Yang Dingtian asked. "Chi-Chi knows that, brother-in-law, you've always wanted to build a celestial chi purification formation. Although I still don't believe that Cloud Sky City can build such a formation, I don't dare to doubt your ability to create miracles." Ning Wuming didn't directly answer Yang Dingtian's question. Instead, he said, "Now, you've already obtained the yin-yang samsara crystal." "That's right, the yin-yang samsara crystal is the most important item in the celestial chi formation, but it's not the most difficult item." "That's right, the most difficult item is the chaos demonic turbidity," Yang Dingtian said. A celestial chi purification formation required hundreds to thousands of items. But most importantly, it required 3 items. The first item was the extremely rare yin-yang samsara crystal. Its function was to turn any celestial chi in the world, whether it was yang or yin, whether it was fire, ice, wind, etc., into celestial chi with no attributes. This item either didn't exist or would appear immediately once it was dug out. Hence, among these 3 items, the yin-yang samsara crystal was the most precious, rare item. The second item was the massive amount of yin-yang magnetic crystals. The function of the magnetic crystals was to condense all the celestial chi within a radius of tens to hundreds of miles into a narrow space. The magnetic crystals were the easiest to obtain. As long as one had money and power, they would definitely be able to obtain them. However, they had to be replaced every 3 years. Hence, the amount of money required was astronomical. Unless one's wealth was tens of times greater than Cloud Sky City's, it was impossible to do so. The third item was the chaos demonic turbidity. Its only function was to devour the turbidity in celestial chi energy. The chaos demonic turbidity was like a life form, but also like a type of energy. Its only hobby was to devour turbidity. Hence, it could purify celestial chi energy. Furthermore, it could evolve 99.9% of the celestial chi energy. The chaos demonic turbidity was also a type of energy crystal. It was contained in almost any material in this world. Hence, it wasn't rare. Especially in magma, it contained rich yang chaotic demonic turbidity. However, roughly 100 million caddies of magma was needed to refine a chaos demonic turbidity the size of a frog. And a celestial chi purification formation required a chaos demonic turbidity the size of a brain. Hence, one would need to refine a few billion caddies or tens of billions of caddies of magma. Of course, magma was abundant in the northwest mainland and could be obtained at will. However, a high-level alchemist could refine about 50,000 caddies of chaos demonic turbidity in magma without doing anything for a year. In other words, if a high-level alchemist were to refine enough chaos demonic turbidity for a celestial chi purification formation, it would take tens of thousands of years. However, there were no more than 3 or 4 capable alchemists in Cloud Sky City at this time. If a high-level alchemist was required, then there wasn't a single one. This was because all the alchemists in the northwest mainland were attracted to the northwest Qin City. Where did the chaos demonic turbidity in the northwest Qin City come from? It was very simple. It took hundreds of high-level alchemists and thousands of ordinary alchemists several decades to refine enough chaos demonic turbidity. This reminded Yang Dingtian of the Earth era. The principle of manufacturing nuclear weapons wasn't difficult. Refining uranium wasn't a mystery purely in terms of technology. However, a country had to do its best, mobilize tens of thousands of people, and spend many years to refine a small piece of uranium. This chaos demonic turbidity was similar to the uranium used to make nuclear weapons on Earth. It wasn't rare, but it required an astronomical amount of manpower and resources. Moreover, it wasn't for sale. Even if it was, no one would be able to afford it. According to Yang Dingtian's estimation, there were no more than 3 families that had chaos demonic turbidity on hand. The first was the North's World Society. This overlord of the North had a territory that spanned thousands of miles and had dominated for hundreds of years. The chaos demonic turbidity must have been refined long ago and was just waiting for the yin-yang reincarnation crystal. The second family was the Earth Fisher City and the Cloud Sky Pavilion. These 2 families were as powerful as the World Society and were also century-old families. They must have prepared the chaos demonic turbidity long ago. The third family was the South Sea Ning clan. The South Sea Ning clan was isolated and mysterious. They weren't part of the 3 sects, 9 clans, and 27 branches at all. They were known to be the overlord of the sea, but the closest place to the mainland was tens of thousands of miles away. They had never interacted with the mainland. Therefore, no one knew whether they had chaos demonic turbidity or not. However, it could be seen from their competition for the yin-yang reincarnation crystal that they did have chaos demonic turbidity. Moreover, the chaos demonic turbidity that Qin Chichi and Yang Dingtian used to trade was probably from the South Sea Ning clan. There were 3 key items to build the celestial chi condensation array: the yin-yang reincarnation crystal, the yin-yang magnetic crystal, and the chaos demonic turbidity. Yang Dingtian already had the yin-yang reincarnation crystal. The rich lady Qin Mingli was continuously transporting magnetic crystals over. Yang Dingtian really didn't have chaos demonic turbidity. Moreover, it was impossible for Cloud Sky City to have it. Of course, there was another way, which was to snatch it from the World Society, Earth Fisher City, or Cloud Sky Pavilion. However, it seemed that this was the same as seeking death. Is the chaos demonic turbidity in your hands, Yin or Yang? Yang Dingtian asked. Yin, Ning Wuming replied. That's right. The celestial chi condensation purification array needed a pair of chaos demonic turbidity. 1 Yin and 1 Yang. One was responsible for devouring the Yang demonic turbidity, while the other was responsible for devouring the Yin demonic turbidity. Then what do you need me to do? Yang Dingtian asked. Between Qin Chichi and Qin Huayu, choose to support Qin Chichi, Ning Wuming replied. So simple? Yang Dingtian asked. I don't think I'm that important. Ning Wuming smiled and said, I'm just a messenger. I don't know the details. However, Chichi asked me to pass you a letter. Then, Ning Wuming took out a letter from his bosom. Yang Dingtian took it, and Ning Wuming turned around like a gentleman. On the letter was Qin Chichi's unique handwriting. Yang Dingtian's hand had just touched the letter when the handwriting appeared. Yang Dingtian, help me kill Qin Huayu, and I'll give you the chaos demonic turbidity. Otherwise, I'll flatten Cloud Sky City in 3 months. He had just finished reading when the words on the letter disappeared without a trace. Then, the letter also turned into ashes. Yang Dingtian's heart was filled with endless anger. This Ning looming in front of him, even when he was making the most sinister threats, he would never stop smiling. Moreover, he wouldn't leave any evidence, as if everything had nothing to do with him. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian thought of something. Between Ning Wuming and Qin Shiqi, who was the hunter and who was the prey? Of course, if Ning Wuming was the hunter, then his hunting target would be the entire northwest Qin city, and even the entire northwest and southwest continents. Others might not know his identity, but Yang Dingtian knew it very well. He was the lackey of the Temple of Annihilation's young master. If Ning Wuming touched the northwest Qin city, it meant that the Temple of Annihilation's evil claws were officially placed on the northwest and southwest continents. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian couldn't help but think of a person. 200 years ago, the biggest traitor of the Tiando League, the most notorious demon, Li Tianxiao of the Wooden Sword Castle. He killed millions of warriors of the Tiando League and all of his elders. Was this Ning Wuming in front of him playing the role of Li Tianxiao? Although he couldn't wait to tear the person in front of him into pieces, Yang Dingtian still smiled and said, "Why don't you let me think about it?" "Of course." Ning Wuming said, "This is a matter between brother-in-law and Chi-Chi. I'm just a messenger. Even if you want to answer, please pass it to Chi-Chi directly." "Alright, then I'll have to trouble you to make this trip," Yang Dingtian said. "Thank you for your hospitality. I'll take my leave," Ning Wuming said. Then, he bowed and retreated. "Husband, why is this Ning Wuming here?" Yan Yan said, "He's very scary. His gaze and his aura are very scary." "Why are you so scared?" Yang Dingtian asked. "I can't tell. I can't tell if it's evil or mysterious. Anyway, he has an inhuman aura." Yan Yan said, "Moreover, he has a fatal attraction to women." "Husband, there's a very scary thing. After a woman sees him, his shadow is instantly engraved in her mind. It's impossible to erase it. To women, he's a fatal devil." Yang Dingtian's hair stood on end. "There's such a thing?" "Yes." Yan Yan said, "This is what mother told me. So before we meet him, she told me, Jiao Jiao, Liani, and Susu not to look at Ning Wuming's eyes." Yan Yan said, "So, we didn't look at him. But he was really scary." Sitting beside him, she felt a chill run down her spine. "You noticed just now that Jiao Jiao and I were fighting for food, but we didn't eat a single bite." Yang Dingtian took a deep breath. He only felt that Ning Wuming was unfathomable. Yan Yan, on the other hand, felt a strange and terrifying aura from him. It was much scarier than Qin Huayu's. "Alright, he won't come again." Yang Dingtian said, "I'll kill him in about 1 or 2 years." "Kill him? Why?" Yan Yan said, "But it's good to kill him. This kind of person will definitely harm the world." "Oh right, where's Dongfang Bingling? How is she?" Yan Yan asked. "She?" Yang Dingtian paused for a moment, then said, "She only has about 10 days left." Yan Yan was shocked. She straightened up from Yang Dingtian's arms and said in a trembling voice, What happened to her?" 10 days, what do you mean?" "She'll probably die in 10 days. Yang Dingtian said, "Because she was hit by something from the Temple of Annihilation. It's similar to the soul-devouring qi in Uncle Shimon's body." Suddenly, tears fell from Yan Yan's eyes, and her expression was incomparably sad. "Husband, go accompany her. You'll be with her for the next 10 days. She must really want you by her side," Yan Yan said. Yang Dingtian nodded and kissed Yan Yan gently. Yang Dingtian landed in a small house more than 10 miles away. Dongfang Bingling was waiting for him at the door. Yang Dingtian held her hand and said, "Junior sister, we've been inseparable these days. Where do you want to go? Dongfang Bingling gently snuggled up to Yang Dingtian's chest and said, Senior brother, I'll take you to a place. A place that changed my fate. A place where I almost committed suicide. I want to give myself to you completely there and truly be your woman. Chapter 384. In the last 10 days, the two of them had to be inseparable. Xingling wanted to bring Yang Dingtian to a secret place to spend the last days of her life. The two of them rode on the demonic ray and headed north. After flying for more than 3,000 miles, they had reached the end of the northwest continent. To the north was the vast ocean, and at the end of the ocean was the northern lands. The northern lands and the northwest continent were separated by less than 2,000 miles of ocean, which was considered close. However, the entire ocean was polluted by the Ecstasy River and was a forbidden zone for life, so there were no ships sailing. Of course, compared to the Sky Demon City's ocean, the pollution here was much lighter. Therefore, there were only a few high-level mounts that could fly across this ocean. Most people who wanted to go to the northern lands had to take a detour of 3,000 miles to the west and go up the Continental Bridge to reach the northern lands. Otherwise, they could go another 2,000 miles to the west and take a ship to the west side of the northern lands. In short, although the northwest continent and the northern lands looked close, the closest distance was almost 10,000 miles. Yang Dingtian and Dongfang Bingling had disguised themselves to a certain extent. Yang Dingtian had disguised himself as a pale, gentle, and somewhat solitary young man. Dongfang Bingling, on the other hand, had put on a mask that Yang Dingtian had never seen before. When Xingling put on the mask, Yang Dingtian was slightly surprised. This face was very gorgeous, and even a little wild. Tender red lips, a high nose bridge, and big teasing eyes. The corners of her eyes were slanted upwards. How to describe this face? The hot Mudan. A bloody rose? This kind of woman looked wanton, but if a man touched her slightly, his hand would be covered in blood. This kind of woman hid a heart similar to a man's under her extremely beautiful face. She could wear the most gorgeous dress, wear priceless jewelry, and have a gorgeous face, but she could sit on the dirty ground and play finger-guessing games with rough men, eat meat, and drink wine. Seeing Yang Dingtian's shocked expression, Bing Ling said, From now on, you can call me Ling Mudan. Ah! Yang Dingtian said in astonishment, You are Ling Mudan. Dongfang Bingling nodded. Who was Ling Mudan? She shared the same name as Third Lady Gongsun. The whole world was talking about her beauty. Dongfang Bingling was too high to reach. Therefore, among all men's dream lovers, the top two were Third Lady Gongsun and Mudan. Third Lady Gongsun was known for her sword dance and charm. On the other hand, Mudan was gorgeous and bold. She was more beautiful than any woman, but more heroic than any man. Of course, Mudan had an even greater characteristic, which was that she had killed countless people. This woman completely abhorred evil. Wherever he went, he would kill. His martial arts skills were so high that it made people tremble in fear. Of course, most of the people she killed were evil people. But there was no lack of good people among them. She was so beautiful, and she had a devilish figure that no one dared to look at. Wherever she went, she was like the most beautiful flower, attracting bees and butterflies. She usually didn't pay much attention to them and continued to do as she pleased. When she drank, the wine would wet the front of her clothes, causing them to become translucent. She ignored the covetous gazes of many men. She was extremely particular about the quality of life. She used the best essence, ate the best food, and drank the best water and wine. She ate the best meat. However, she didn't care about any ladylike manners. She could grab meat with one hand and wine with the other, eating and drinking in large mouthfuls under the gazes of countless men. If any man pointed at her, even if they fantasized about her behind her back, she would pretend that she didn't hear them. However, if anyone dared to flirt with her directly in front of her, basically, there was only one result, which was to be split in half alive. Therefore, in this world, she didn't seem to be as popular as Third Lady Gongsun, because Third Lady Gongsun was easier to get along with. However, in terms of attraction to men, Mu Dan was even more attractive than Third Lady Gongsun. On the back of the demonic spirit ray, Yang Dingtian looked at the beautiful figure in front of him. He was still in a daze and couldn't believe what he was seeing. Dongfang Bingling was definitely cold and proud, but the cold Mu Dan in front of him was still cold. However, she was also like a burning flame, completely like ice and fire. "Junior sister, why do you want to dress up like this?" Yang Dingtian asked. Dongfang Bingling turned her head and said, "Isn't this good?" "Yes, but it's so different from your real appearance," Yang Dingtian said. Dongfang Bingling said, "This is my real soul. Being Dongfang Bingling is too tiring, and I have to bear too much responsibility. My dream is to travel the world, hate evil, and kill all the evildoers in the world. I'll do whatever I want, eat whatever I want, and sleep whenever I want. Absolute freedom, and I won't be bound by anything." Yang Dingtian looked at Dongfang Bingling and said, "The original fairy of the 9 heavens is already so high up that it's unreachable. The current Ling Mu Dan is like the brightest star in the sky. It's as if you can touch it with your hand, but it's billions of miles away. It's even more distant and untouchable. I don't know why, but in my last moments, I want to wear this appearance until I die." Dongfang Bingling said, "Senior brother, who did you fall in love with? Dongfang Bingling, or the current Ling Mu Dan?" Yang Dingtian was silent for a moment and said, "The one I fell in love with is just an impression. Whether it's Dongfang Bingling or Ling Mu Dan, they're both high up and unreachable beautiful impressions. Therefore, even if you're in my arms, I still feel that it's unreal. You're not like Yen Yen, whose emotions, anger, sorrow, joy, anger, and joy, are all incomparably real and delicate." Soon enough, the devil spirit ray landed in the north. It was the first time Yang Dingtian stepped on the land of the north. This was a land filled with contradictions. The earth was still riddled with scars, and it was still blood-red. However, the weather here was extremely cold. Large snowflakes floated down from the sky, falling down in lumps. The snowflakes piled up on the roofs and tree branches. Everywhere was covered in white snow. However, there wasn't a single bit of snow on the land, not even a little bit. In an environment that was dozens of degrees below zero, a few days of heavy snowflakes didn't leave any traces on the ground. As soon as the snow touched the ground, it would immediately melt. Therefore, this was also a world of ice and fire. After coming to the north, Yang Dingtian and Dugu Fengwu couldn't ride the devil spirit ray anymore. This was because this was already the territory of the World Society. Apart from the World Society, no one else was allowed to fly in the sky. Otherwise, they would be attacked directly by the World Society. Yang Dingtian and Bing Ling bought 2 of the most expensive and most handsome wolf mounts. Then, Bing Ling led the way in front, heading north. Yang Dingtian didn't know where Bing Ling was bringing him, but he didn't ask and just followed. Even though the north was vast and sparsely populated, Mu Dan's figure still attracted some people's attention. Instantly, more and more people followed behind her. Countless men were looking at Dongfang Bingling's sexy and gorgeous back with infatuated eyes, but almost no one dared to go up and strike up a conversation. This was because this Mu Dan was too violent and bloodthirsty. If she got impatient, she would directly stab her to death. Even though Mu Dan died under a flower, she would still be a romantic ghost. However, it was too unjust to be killed just because she came up to say a few words. On the 3rd day, Yang Dingtian already had a few hundred people following behind him. Dongfang Bingling completely ignored them. Although Yang Dingtian frowned, he didn't say a word. However, because Yang Dingtian followed behind Bing Ling for these 3 days, he was almost torn into pieces by the jealous and shocked gazes of the few hundred men. However, at least no man came out to fight with Yang Dingtian. Just when Yang Dingtian felt lucky that he didn't get into too much trouble, a man on a horse rushed out and shouted at Dongfang Bingling, "Mu Dan, Mu Dan. I finally found you, I finally found you." This time, don't even think about disappearing from my world. I have been searching for you all these years. I always thought that I would lose my love forever. The heavens took pity on me and let me find you again. This time, I will never let you leave me. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but look at the man immediately. He was very handsome, but at this time, his appearance was completely unflattering. He was really embarrassed to the extreme. His handsome face was beaten black and blue. His eyebrows seemed to have been burned off. The clothes on his body were old and tattered. As he rushed over, he was wiping his nosebleed. When he passed by Yang Dingtian couldn't help but frown because there was a sour smell on his body. He didn't know how long it had been since he took a bath. He directly rushed to Dongfang Bingling's side. His eyes greedily looked at Bingling's gorgeous face. He took a deep breath and said, "I finally smell the scent that haunts my dreams again. Mu Dan, why were you so cruel and left me silently?" Yang Dingtian waited for the tragedy to happen. Although Bingling had lost her cultivation, it was more than enough to kill such a waste. This man was completely asking for death by flirting with Bingling. It was guaranteed that Bingling would directly cut off his head. However, Bingling just looked at him. In her cold and ruthless eyes, there was a trace of helplessness. She said, "Get lost." Bingling, who had always been ruthless and impatient, didn't kill him. She actually showed a trace of helplessness. "I finally found you again. Don't think that I can leave you. Either kill me or let me follow you," the ruffian said. Yang Dingtian frowned and went forward to ask Bingling, "What's going on?" The ruffian glanced at Yang Dingtian and said, "Hey, what's wrong with you?" "I'm talking to Mu Dan." "Why are you here?" "Yan Pianxian, he is my husband," Bingling said lightly. The ruffian looked like he was struck by lightning. He said in shock, "Impossible. You love me. In this world, other than me, who else can be worthy of you?" "Crazy," Bingling said coldly. "You love me. Otherwise, why didn't you kill me every time I pestered you and flirted with you? Also, why did you save me when I was in danger? Why did you save me with pills when I was about to die? Why did you take care of me for half a month when I was injured and dying?" the ruffian said loudly. Yang Dingtian's heart trembled slightly. When Bingling appeared as Mu Dan, she did have some interaction with this ruffian. Indeed, no matter which appearance Bingling appeared with, she had no patience for men. If she was slightly impatient, she would pull out her sword and kill. Bingling looked at Yang Dingtian and said, "Husband, this person is called Yan Pianxian. Her martial arts are terrible. She has a strong sense of justice and likes to meddle in other people's business. When I first came to the fringe, there was a gang leader who tried to molest me. I was about to kill every last one of them. This Yan Pianxian rushed out to fight for justice, but her martial arts were terrible. She was immediately beaten to the ground and was half dead. I impatiently left. Later, she screamed more and more miserably. Seeing that she was about to be beaten to death, I went to save her and killed all of them. However, one of her legs was broken. I casually threw him into a clinic and then left. 2 years later, she met him again by chance. She had a strong sense of justice and meddled in other people's business. She was beaten half dead. I saved her again. At this time, her second leg was also broken. I threw her into a clinic again. Later, she pestered me. I couldn't kill her. She was very annoying. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but look at Yan Pianxian. There was such a person in the world. Her martial arts were terrible, her sense of justice was overflowing, and she liked to meddle in other people's business. It was a miracle that she was still alive. At this time, Yan Pianxian looked at Yang Dingtian and said, "Brother, you don't deserve Mu Dan. You don't love her as much as I do. I'm telling you seriously, you should give up. She won't be happy with you. Yang Dingtian looked at her serious face and couldn't help but laugh. He said, "Then, will she be happy with you?" "Of course." Yan Pianxian said, "I'm the only man in the world worthy of her." "You're such a busybody. You'll lose your nickname at any time. How can you give a woman happiness?" Yang Dingtian laughed and then looked at her battered and swollen handsome face. Yan Pianxian was embarrassed and said, I didn't do this because I didn't have money to eat. I was beaten because I ate without paying. There's a difference between the two, okay?" Yang Dingtian was speechless. "Husband, ignore him. Let's go," Bing Ling said. Then, the two of them sped up. Yan Pianxian chased after them desperately. "Senior." Bing Ling frowned. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian flicked his finger and a burst of qi hit Yan Pianxian's horse leg. The horse staggered and was about to kneel down. Ouch! Yan Pianxian flew out of the horse's back and fell flat on his face. He crawled up in a sorry state, wiped the blood from his nose, and cursed at Yang Dingtian. Then, he started to chase after Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian found that his legs were indeed lame. Yang Dingtian and Bing Ling's speed became faster and faster. Soon, they left Yan Pianxian far behind. This strange man was dragging his lame legs and still chasing after them. 1 day. 2 days. A full 5 days passed. At this time, they had reached the end of the northern land. In front of them was a vast water surface. That's right, it wasn't the sea, but the water surface. The water surface was absolutely still. This was the northernmost end of the entire chaotic continent. The Yin-Yang Mirror, the most secretive and mysterious place in this world. Bing Ling got off the horse and said to Yang Dingtian, "Senior, we're almost there. The place that changed my fate, the most mysterious place in this world, is not far ahead. Tonight, let's consummate our marriage there." Chapter 385. The Yin-Yang Mirror was at the northern end of the chaotic continent. Geographically, it was parallel to the glacier. However, it was about 20 to 30,000 miles away from the glacier. How big was the Yin-Yang Mirror? No one knew. Because this place was vast and boundless. Perhaps it was tens of thousands of miles, perhaps it was tens of thousands of miles. Not only could one not distinguish north from south, east from west, one could not even distinguish between the sky and the ground. The ground here was all water, the purest water in the world. However, the water was frozen, like a mirror embedded in the ground, completely imprinting the beautiful scenery of the sky in the mirror. When one stepped on the water, they would clearly feel the water soaking their feet, but they would not sink at all. This was the edge of the world. This was the most beautiful and mysterious place in the world. Similarly, this was also a forbidden zone for life. After stepping into the Yin-Yang Mirror, Dongfang Bingling seemed to be slightly lighter. She gently held Yang Dingtian's hand and stepped on the water surface of the Yin-Yang Mirror to walk forward. This was frozen water, not ice. Therefore, when they stepped on it, the water surface swayed slightly. Immediately, the mirror that was dozens of miles away also swayed slightly, and the reflection of the sky was also slightly distorted. It was so beautiful that it was bizarre, so beautiful that it was unreal. "Senior brother, in the past 10 years, I have spent most of my time here." Bing Ling said, "I have basically been practicing martial arts here." Then, Bing Ling took a deep breath and said, "Do you feel it? The profound qi here is very rich and very pure. If there is a fairyland in this world, then the Yin-Yang Mirror is the closest place to the fairyland." Yang Dingtian said, "We have to speed up because we only have 1 day." Bing Ling said. Then, Bing Ling took off her shoes and gently stepped on the mirror's water surface with her beautiful jade-like arch. She held Yang Dingtian's hand and jumped lightly. Whoosh! Suddenly, the two of them floated up gently. Like immortals, they leaped a few hundred meters and gently landed on the water surface. Yang Dingtian finally knew one thing. The water here was like a mirror, but it was water after all, not ice. Why did it not sink when one stepped on it? There were two reasons for this. Firstly, the density of the water was very high, many times higher than the density of the human body. The second reason was that the gravity here was very light, about 1/10 of that on land. Therefore, even if it was just a light leap, it would be able to fly far away. If there was an immortal realm in this world, then the yin-yang mirror would undoubtedly be the place closest to it. Under Bing Ling's guidance, the two of them leaped lightly on the water surface. From day to night. He didn't know how deep he had entered the yin-yang mirror. Perhaps he was already several thousand li deep. Yang Dingtian had completely lost his sense of direction after entering the yin-yang mirror. The two suns in the sky were always in the center of the sky. When the sky turned dark, the two suns disappeared almost instantly and were replaced by two moons hanging in the sky. Here, every inch of the scenery was the same. Anyone who came here would lose their sense of direction and become lost. The two of them did not know how long they had been flying. It was as if they were the only ones in the world. Until Bing Ling suddenly said, "Senior brother, we're here." Then Bing Ling let go of Yang Dingtian's hand and leaped lightly, landing on a spot on the water surface. "Senior brother, come on." The beautiful Bing Ling waved at Yang Dingtian. Then, the graceful figure disappeared from Yang Dingtian's sight. She sank down from the water surface. Yang Dingtian leaped lightly and landed on the same spot on the water surface. He also gradually sank. The water here was natural water with low density. Therefore, after people entered, they would sink. The two of them sank quickly. Bing Ling grabbed Yang Dingtian's hand. Suddenly, her delicate body shook slightly and directly escaped from the water. Then, she flipped upside down in the air and stood on the mirror again. Here, it looked exactly the same as before. It was still the boundless mirror, but Yang Dingtian knew that this was the bottom of the yin-yang mirror. There was an anti-gravity field here. So, in other words, Yang Dingtian was standing upside down on the mirror. "Senior brother, I was in despair at that time. I heard that there was a fairyland in the world. So, I went through all kinds of difficulties and dangers and walked tens of thousands of miles to the yin-yang mirror. When I came here, I was extremely happy because I really found a fairyland. After entering the yin-yang mirror, I found that I could fly. I enjoyed this feeling very much. There were no mountains or rocks here. No matter which direction I flew in, I didn't have to worry about being hit. So I flew aimlessly. I thought that if people must die, choosing to die in this fairyland was the best choice." Bing Ling said, "I kept flying until one day, I fell directly into the water surface and entered here. Senior brother, go and touch the surroundings." Yang Dingtian walked a few meters and reached out to touch. What he touched was very special water. It was extremely cold, pure, and heavy. It turned out that this was just a small room of dozens of square meters. There were walls, but the walls were all solidified water. As far as the eye could see, it was empty. Yang Dingtian thought that it was the same as the ground. There was nothing around. It turned out that the surroundings were all solidified water. In this way, this became the most secret room in the world. At that time, I fell and then lay here, waiting to die. At that time, I was extremely weak and could die at any time. But I was extremely happy because it was really a blessing to die in a fairyland. As a result, in the mysterious room, just when I thought I had died, my master appeared. She asked me a few questions and I also answered a few questions. Then she took me to a place and changed my life. Bing Ling said, "Then, I became an extremely powerful fairy." Yang Dingtian had heard many legends about Dongfang Bingling. Now, he finally knew the truth clearly. He also understood more why Bing Ling was so cold and arrogant before. Although his master Dongfang Minmi was ambitious, he owed Bing Ling too much. When she needed a father the most, he was not by her side. Yang Dingtian sat down cross-legged and looked at Bing Ling. "Junior sister, why did you bring me here?" Bing Ling lay gently on the ground. The ground here was still solidified water. In an instant, Bing Ling's clothes were completely soaked and stuck to her graceful body. It made her beautiful body even more attractive. She was really like a fairy in a fairyland, but also like a witch, releasing endless temptation. Come to the place where my heart belongs and I give myself to you completely. Not only myself, but also my everything. Bing Ling said softly. What is everything? Yang Dingtian asked. Everything is my mission. Bing Ling curled up her delicate body slightly and gently rested her head on Yang Dingtian's lap. She looked at Yang Dingtian. I give you the Yin-Yang school and my dreams. What do you mean? Yang Dingtian asked. When the sun rises tomorrow, my master will appear here. She said that she would come here on the first day of every 10 years. If I want to see her, I will come here and wait for her. 10 years ago tomorrow, she saved me here and picked me up. I hope that she can pick you up tomorrow. Senior brother, your talent is higher than mine. You will definitely be able to improve by leaps and bounds with her. Bing Ling said. Yang Dingtian shook his head and said, Junior sister, I really don't want to. But there is no other way. Evil ways have completely shrouded the entire chaotic world. Dongfang Bingling said, I don't know how long we have. Maybe 3 years, maybe 5 years. I know that senior brother is very talented. 3 to 5 years is definitely enough for senior brother to break through to Grandmaster, or even Great Grandmaster. But this is not enough. It is far from enough. In order to protect your family, my family, and to protect this world, you must become strong. Senior brother, I don't know who my master is. But I am sure that she is the most powerful person in the world. Only she can make you become extremely powerful in the shortest time possible. Dongfang Bingling stroked Yang Dingtian's cheek and said softly, Senior brother, so listen to me, okay? Lower your proud head and obediently wait here for my master to appear, okay? Yang Dingtian gritted his teeth and nodded. Then, Yang Dingtian's face showed a trace of joy and said, Junior sister, your master will appear tomorrow. Then she will definitely be able to save you. She is so powerful. Dongfang Bingling shook her head and smiled, That's impossible, senior brother. First of all, I can't wait until dawn. Do you know where the evil energy in my body is at this time? Yang Dingtian shook his head. It is already here. Bing Ling pointed to her neck and said, The evil energy has controlled everything below the neck. I can't wait until dawn. The evil energy will completely occupy my soul and brain. Senior brother, do you know what an evil energy is? Yang Dingtian shook his head again. Senior brother, you should know that in ancient times, there was a kind of energy black dragon that seduced the sea serpents and gave birth to a new race, the Naga race. The Naga race became a demigod race and was extremely powerful. They destroyed all the civilizations under the sea and killed billions of creatures. In the end, it caused the Chaos continent to be completely imbalanced and was punished by the heavens, leading to the destruction of the ancient civilization. Dongfang Bingling said, The energy black dragon that seduced the sea serpents was transformed by the evil energy. What? Yang Dingtian suddenly exclaimed. The ancient demigod race, the Naga race, was actually created by the evil energy. The destruction of the ancient civilization and the destruction of the chaos world was also because of the evil energy. Dongfang Bingling said, Also, the energy forbidden zone in the celestial Red Sea is also because of the evil energy. The energy black hole is also a product of the evil energy. Senior brother, do you know why the Temple of Annihilation is so powerful? It is because they were corrupted by the evil energy and were seduced by the evil energy. However, because they were unable to truly control the evil energy, they failed to destroy the world several times. Furthermore, the hidden sect saved the world every time. The evil energy is the source of all the darkness in the chaos world and the source of all evil. My body has already been implanted with the energy of the evil energy. Once, the only thing in the world that could resolve the energy of the evil energy was Wan Wentian's tear. Do you know what is hidden in the tear? What? Yang Dingtian asked. Wan Wentian only had remnants of light, kindness, sorrow, and love. Furthermore, the crystallized tear can't resolve the evil energy. It can only perish together with the evil energy. Now, Wan Wentian's crystallized tear has been used on Dugu Fengwu. There is nothing else in the world that can resolve the soul-devouring devil mystic, not even my master. Dongfang Bingling said, "Senior brother, master once told me something about the soul-devouring devil mystic. Do you know what it is?" "What is it?" Yang Dingtian asked.
She told me that if there is a day when I am afflicted with the soul-devouring devil mystic, I will immediately kill myself. Otherwise, if she meets me, she will immediately behead me. Bing Ling said indifferently, "Senior brother, there is no cure for the soul-devouring devil mystic, no cure for the evil energy. It is not the Punisher Ningyu who uses the soul-devouring devil mystic that is powerful. He is just a parasite. The truly powerful one is the evil energy. My master is so powerful, but she can't resolve it. Therefore, I have no more hope. Senior brother, my time has come to an end. Tonight will be my last night. I hope that it will be the most beautiful night." Dongfang Bingling said gently, "Senior brother, can you promise me? Tonight, we will spend the most beautiful night together and become a true husband and wife. Then, before the sun rises, kill me. After that, you will sit here and wait for my master to come. Then, you will follow her to a place and become stronger. Then, you will save this world. Okay?" Yang Dingtian's tears fell as he nodded and said, "Okay. Okay." Dongfang Bingling got up and said, "There are no candles, no matchmakers, no guests, and no elders here. Let's just go through a simple ceremony and get married, okay?" Yang Dingtian nodded and said, "Okay." Then, he helped Bing Ling up. First, bow to the 2 suns and moons in the sky. Under Bing Ling's instructions, the 2 of them held hands and bowed. Second, bow to the god of chaos on earth. Third, bow to the elders and parents. Husband and wife, bow to each other and love each other for a lifetime. Dongfang Bingling and Yang Dingtian bowed deeply. Their foreheads touched each other gently and then stuck close to each other. They did not get up again. Even when he hated Dongfang Bingling the most, Yang Dingtian often dreamed of getting married to Dongfang Bingling. Sometimes, it was in Yinyang School. Sometimes, it was in Cloud Sky City. Sometimes, there were guests. Sometimes, it was quiet and peaceful. However, no matter which dream it was, the wedding ceremony between the 2 of them was not like this. There were only 2 people in the world. There was no bed, no candles, and no wedding dress. In this extremely beautiful, extremely mysterious, extremely quiet, and extremely terrifying Yinyang mirror, there was no one around. In this Yinyang mirror, which was like paradise, like heaven, and like hell, they got married. Moreover, it was in Dongfang Bingling's last moments. If this was the most beautiful happiness, then all the happiness would come to an abrupt end before dawn. After a long time, the 2 of them straightened up. Dongfang Bingling no longer hid any feelings. She looked at Yang Dingtian's eyes and released endless emotions. It was as if, in this last moment, she wanted to release all the emotions that she had suppressed for countless years. "Senior, from now on, we are husband and wife."
Chapter 386. Yang Dingtian instinctively shouted at the embarrassed figure. However, before he finished shouting, Yang Dingtian had already stopped. It was absolutely abnormal for the other party to appear in this place at this time. When Ling Qingchen and Dongfang Bingling collided, Ling Qingchen's sword could directly pierce through Bing Ling's beautiful moth head and instantly take her life. But for some reason, looking at Bing Ling's beautiful face and those familiar eyes, Ling Qingchen's heart softened, and the sharp sword in her hand slammed hard. Dongfang Bingling let out a low cry, and her entire delicate body flew out like a butterfly, spitting out a mouthful of blood in the air. Although her cultivation had a great breakthrough because of the energy of the evil spirit, she was still far from being a match for Ling Qingchen, a great master. After the succubus Bingling landed, she staggered for a while, opened her small mouth, and spat out another mouthful of blood. However, her purple eyes were still incomparably stubborn and cold, facing the great master Ling Qingchen without the slightest fear. Gently wiping the blood from the corner of her mouth, she shouted. The sharp sword in her hand shook violently, and in an instant, there were illusions. Each illusion was exactly the same as Dongfang Bingling, all made of ice. Countless illusions fiercely rushed towards Ling Qingchen. Ling Qingchen raised her sharp sword high, and flames burst out of her body. Boom, flames burst out suddenly. Countless illusions attacked Dongfang Bingling. Boom. Light burst out. The illusions of the succubus Bingling shattered. But, one of the illusions instantly solidified into a real one. Like a ghost, the soul sword in her hand instantly pierced Ling Qingchen's chest. Ling Qingchen was shocked, and the mysterious qi energy in her body burst out. Puff! Succubus Bingling's delicate body, as if a huge bomb had exploded, flew out directly, and spat out another mouthful of blood in the air. Ling Qingchen looked down at the wound on her chest. Dongfang Bingling's sword directly pierced into her chest by 2 inches, and the wound had become a terrible blue color. Just one sword strike was enough to severely injure him. Ling Qingchen looked at Dongfang Bingling in disbelief. Even with the power of the evil spirit, the succubus Bingling was only an intermediate grandmaster. Ling Qingchen had already broken through to the grandmaster realm, but she was still injured by the succubus Bingling. How shocking was that? At this moment, Icicle, who had transformed into a succubus, had astonishing combat strength. After landing on the ground, the succubus Icicle spat out another mouthful of blood. She was already heavily injured, but her gaze towards Ling Qingchen became even colder and more dangerous. Her incomparably beautiful eyes flashed with a bloodthirsty and cruel light, and her beautiful face was incomparably resolute. Even though she knew that she was no match for Ling Qingchen, she had no intention of retreating. Instead, she was determined to kill Ling Qingchen. Ling Qingchen gazed at Bingling's seductive yet terrifying gaze and sighed softly, "Senior brother, I'm sorry. She's not Bingling anymore, so I won't be merciful anymore." Ling Qingchen's gaze instantly became resolute. His gaze towards the succubus Icicle was filled with murderous intent. "Little Ling, I'll tell the people from the Yinyang school that you died in the hands of the Temple of Annihilation." "You died very bravely," Ling Qingchen said slowly. Then, he straightened his sword. His entire body flew towards the succubus Icicle lightly. His speed was not fast, and his sword technique did not look sharp either. However, it was as if Mount Tai was pressing down on her. Wherever he passed, the sky changed color. Wherever he passed, the solidified water under his feet burned inch by inch. Wherever he passed, the space would distort. Heaven and earth rumbled loudly. The white clouds in the sky and the air in the sky instantly turned into raging flames. This was Ling Qingchen's ultimate move, the infinite sword. There was only one outcome for those who were struck by the sword, and that was to be completely annihilated. Not even a single strand of hair would be left behind. He wanted to use the most beautiful method to kill the succubus Icicle and make her completely disappear from this world. Yan Pianxian, whose face was still bruised and swollen, still smelly, and whose clothes were in tatters, limped into the battle like a madman and rushed between Ling Qingchen and Icicle. "Young man, do you want to die?" Ling Qingchen roared fiercely. His voice was like thunder. "No one can hurt my Mudan. No one can hurt my beloved. Whoever dares to hurt my Mudan, I'll cut him into pieces." Yan Pianxian stumbled and fell in front of the succubus Icicle. He opened his arms and used his body to block the succubus Icicle. "Lunatic, if you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish," Ling Qingchen said angrily. Once the infinite sword was used, it could not be stopped at all. In an instant, the terrifying giant sword stabbed towards Yan Pianxian's filthy chest. Yan Pianxian suddenly reached out and blocked Ling Qingqian's infinite sword. There was something in the world that was like a mantis trying to stop a car. Yan Pianxian's actions were 10,000 times more childish than a mantis trying to stop a car. He overestimated himself 10,000 times more. The only result was that he and the succubus icicle would be smashed into pieces and turned into ashes. Boom! Ling Qingqian's giant sword stabbed into Yan Pianxian's palm. Then, all the great changes stopped. The raging fire in the sky was instantly extinguished.
His entire brain seemed to have been struck by lightning 10,000 times. Even his entire body had temporarily lost its ability to react. The person in front of him was limping, his nose was bruised and his face was swollen. His clothes were tattered, and his entire body stank. Even compared to the most miserable wandering warrior, Yan Pianxian looked very miserable. But he was the young master of the Temple of Annihilation, the supreme of evil ways, and the main culprit who was about to destroy the entire world. Even the devil of a generation, Dugu Shao of the Temple of 10,000 Blood, had to crawl at his feet. Yang Ding Tian, when we were in the north. You and my Mu Dan were running in front, and I was chasing behind on a horse. In the end, you gently swung your hand, and I fell off the horse and fell flat on my face. At that time, what did you think I was like? Was I like a clown, like an ant, an insignificant small character that you didn't even want to look at? Yan Pianxian asked. Yang Ding Tian nodded. That's right. That's how I've always felt about you, Yan Pianxian said calmly. Then, he stopped smiling, raised his chin, turned around, and ignored Yang Ding Tian. He was as arrogant as the demon king above the 9 heavens. Mu Dan, this Ling Qingqian injured you just now. Kill him for me, Yan Pianxian said. Succubus Bingling nodded. Her beautiful eyes were cold as she came in front of Ling Qingqian. She raised the sharp sword in her hand and slowly pierced it into Ling Qingqian's head. Yang Ding Tian suddenly jumped up and landed between Ling Qingqian and Succubus Bingling. He stood in front of Ling Qingqian and slowly pulled out the golden soul sword. He looked at Succubus Bingling and said, I don't regret not killing you just now. I don't know what you have become, but this is your martial uncle. If you want to kill him, kill me first. Don't waste your time. Kill the two of you together. Dongfang Bingling said indifferently. Then, her sharp sword didn't stop and directly pierced towards Yang Dingtian's head. Yang Dingtian used all his Xian Qi to block, but he was only a 2-star martial venerable. Succubus Bingling was an intermediate master. Yang Dingtian's resistance was like thin ice under the scorching sun. It instantly melted without a trace. He could only watch as Succubus Bingling's sharp sword cruelly and coldly pierced towards him. The tip of the sword instantly pierced into Yang Dingtian's forehead. The blade was so cold that half of Yang Dingtian's head was instantly frozen. Even blood couldn't flow out. Yang Dingtian had never felt the arrival of the god of death so clearly. At this moment, an incomparably huge amount of energy suddenly came from behind him. It was like the tremor before a nuclear bomb exploded. The yin-yang mirror formed by the solidified water began to tremble violently. Ling Qingqian wanted to detonate her Qi-Si.
Ling Qingqian wanted to perish together with Yan Pianxian and Succubus Bingling. Once a martial grandmaster expert detonated their Qi-Si, all life within a few hundred meters would be smashed to pieces, even if they were martial grandmasters. Oh, you want to detonate your Qi-Si and perish together? Yan Pianxian smiled faintly and then gently pressed down with her palm. Pfft! Ling Qingqian spat out a mouthful of blood and fiercely slapped Yang Dingtian's back. This incomparably huge force directly shook Yang Dingtian's body and he also spat out a mouthful of blood. Then, Ling Qingqian's self-detonation was suppressed. The detonation of the Chi Si was actually eliminated without a trace. A martial grandmaster expert who wanted to detonate his Chi Si was actually completely suppressed without a trace in the air. How strong was this so-called young master of the Temple of Annihilation, Yan Pianxian? It was like a bottomless abyss, completely impossible to see clearly. Succubus Bing Ling's beautiful face was still cold and resolute. Her beautiful purple eyes were still cruel and cold. She stared at Yang Dingtian's eyes and slowly pierced the sharp sword into Yang Dingtian's head. However, a sparkling teardrop slowly slid down from the corner of her eye. It was an absolute contrast with her cold and cruel face. Yang Dingtian slowly closed his eyes and waited for the arrival of death. At this moment, the sky suddenly lit up. This snow-white light instantly illuminated the entire yin-yang mirror. This snow-white light almost completely suppressed the two suns in the sky. This snow-white light was like the light in the endless night, like the warm sun in the terrible winter. It was full of salvation, full of warmth. This snow-white light slowly descended from the sky. Gradually, the white light faded away. This was a woman. A woman in a snow-white robe with bare feet. This was not a woman of the mortal world at all, this was a fairy. If there was anyone in this world who was more beautiful than Dongfang Bingling, it would be this woman in front of him. If there was anyone in this world who was more like a fairy than Dongfang Bingling, it would be this woman in front of him. Although he had never seen her before, Yang Dingtian still recognized at first glance that this woman in front of him was the savior of the world 200 years ago, the leader of the Yin sect, the world's #1 beauty, the world's #1 expert, the world's #1 expert, Nihility Piao Ling. Yang Dingtian had never seen her in person, but he had seen countless of her portraits. Her portraits were hung in every place in the Tiando League. Her portraits were hung in every place in this world. She was the savior of the world's god, the entire Tiando League's supreme faith, the entire chaotic continent saintess. 200 years ago, if she had not appeared, the entire world would have been destroyed, and the Tiando League would have been destroyed. Yin-Yang School, Black Heaven Sect, they would all have been destroyed. She was indeed Dongfang Bingling's master. Dongfang Bingling's master was indeed the leader of the Yin sect, Nihility Piao Ling. 200 years seemed to have not left any traces on her body. She was still so beautiful that it made people feel ashamed of themselves. She was so beautiful that she could wash away the filth in anyone's heart. Instantly, Yang Dingtian's face was covered in tears. All the energy shackles on Ling Qingqian's body disappeared instantly. Yin-Yang School's Ling Qingqian kneels before the leader of the Yin sect, Nihility Fairy. Ling Qingqian said in the most humble, respectful, and admiring tone. She pressed her forehead tightly against the frozen water surface and knelt like that, not daring to raise her head. Yang Dingtian also knelt down and pressed his forehead against the water surface. He said respectfully, Yin-Yang School's disciple, Cloud Sky City's Lord Yang Dingtian, greets the leader of the Yin sect, Nihility Fairy. Then, the succubus Bing Ling also withdrew her sword and knelt on the ground. Finally, the young master of the Temple of Annihilation, Yan Pianxian, also knelt down respectfully and said, Yan Pianxian of the Temple of Annihilation greets mistress. Hearing this, Yang Dingtian and Ling Qingqian could not help but tremble slightly. However, after thinking about it, it made sense. Nihility Piao Ling was Wan Wentian's only lover. Even though Nihility Piao Ling had killed Wan Wentian, she was still Wan Wentian's only lover, so it was not wrong for Yan Pianxian to call her mistress. Nihility Piao Ling slowly landed on the ground and looked at everyone indifferently with her beautiful eyes. Her gaze was like the light of the sun. Even though she was far away, she could directly shine on your body and make you feel incomparably warm. Finally, her gaze landed on Yang Dingtian and she slowly walked over with her jade-like feet. Yang Dingtian almost couldn't breathe. As she approached him, an incomparably refreshing fragrance surged from the bottom of Yang Dingtian's heart. It made him feel as if he had forgotten all the pain and sorrow. He only felt that his body was filled with high-spirited energy and was filled with warm tranquility. It was as if his entire person was in a fairyland. This was a fairy, this was a fairy. Wherever she went, that place would become a fairyland. You are Yang Dingtian. The leader of the Yin sect, Nihility Piao Ling, said. Every word was like the sound of a fairy floating out from her mouth. Yes, I am Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian knelt on the ground and said. Stand up. Nihility Piao Ling said gently. Her voice was very far away, as if it was far away but also very close, as if it was ringing in his heart. I don't dare. Yang Dingtian said. Nihility Piao Ling smiled slightly, then came in front of Yang Dingtian and squatted down slightly. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian was in a daze. Facing the almost suffocating beauty, his heart was in a daze. Facing the fairyland-like fragrance, Yang Dingtian's heart was fluttering. You once pretended to be a disciple of the Yin sect and you even named yourself nameless? Nihility Piao Ling said gently. I deserve to die. Yang Dingtian said respectfully. How much do you know about the Yin sect? Nihility Piao Ling asked. I know very little, but before this, I once had harsh thoughts about the Yin sect in my heart. I felt that the Yin sect was pretentious, hiding behind the scenes to control the world. Yang Dingtian said, but after seeing the fairy, after seeing me, what happened? Nihility Piao Ling asked. After seeing the fairy, all these harsh and dark thoughts instantly disappeared without a trace like snow under the sun. I only have endless admiration for the Yin sect and the fairy. I can't wait to die for you. Yang Dingtian said. Thank you for your praise. Nihility Piao Ling smiled faintly and said, I'll tell you about the Yin sect now. Nihility Piao Ling gently knelt in front of Yang Dingtian. The congealed water soaked her snow-white dress, revealing her snow-white skin. However, Yang Dingtian didn't dare to look at it at all. You're very curious. Why does the Yin sect only appear during the world extermination battle? Why does only one person appear every time? It's like they're pretending to be mysterious and deliberately mystifying, right? Nihility Piao Ling smiled and said. Yes, but I feel that there's definitely a reason for this. Yang Dingtian said. That's right. The reason is that there's actually no Yin sect in this world. Nihility Piao Ling said. Immediately, Yang Dingtian shook violently as if the world had collapsed. He said with a trembling voice, impossible. Every time, the Yin sect comes out to save the world. Child, there's no such power as the Yin sect in this world. However, every time the world extermination battle comes, there will be a person who comes out to save the world. This person is usually surnamed Nihility. Everyone in the world thinks that there must be an incomparably huge power behind us. Over time, the world calls us the Yin sect. Therefore, the Yin sect also exists in this world and is called the number one sect in the world, the number one leader in the universe. Nihility Piao Ling said, therefore, where the Yin sect is also the number one mystery in the world. Now, let me tell you, there's no Yin sect in this world. The reason why there's always a person who comes to save the world in every world extermination battle. It's because before the ancient world extermination, my ancestor walked the world in order to save the world. His name is Nihility Piao Yen. Immediately, Yang Dingtian's heart exploded like a bomb. Of course, he knew about Nihility Piao Yen. The old man in the pig-slaying swordsmanship spent the rest of his life searching for salvation. In the end, he couldn't stop the world extermination battle. However, he left behind descendants. Then, we passed it down from generation to generation. Our only mission is to save the world. Therefore, every world extermination battle, our Nihility clan will appear. Nihility Piao Ling said, of course, in terms of blood, we have no relationship with Nihility Piao Yen. I was also chosen by my master and then accepted as a disciple. I changed my name to Nihility Piao Ling. As for my original name, I've already forgotten it. The reason why there's only one person from the Yin sect in this world every time is because there's only one person in each generation of the so-called Yin sect. Yang Dingtian suddenly trembled. So this was the truth of the Yin sect. My master accepted me as a disciple. After she died, I became the so-called sect leader of the Yin sect. Later, I chose Dongfang Bingling. After I died, Bingling became the sect leader of the Yin sect. Nihility Piao Ling's beautiful eyes looked at Dongfang Bingling and said softly, Bingling is the most talented and strong-willed woman I've ever seen. Therefore, I accepted her as a disciple and let her inherit the Yin sect. However, Nihility Piao Ling sighed softly. Yang Dingtian hurriedly said, Fairy, you're omnipotent. You can definitely save Bingling, right? Nihility Piao Ling shook her head gently and said, It doesn't matter whether I save her or not. This is her calamity. She must survive this calamity. Moreover, she can't be saved by me. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian's heart turned cold. However, there was a hidden glimmer of hope. The Yin sect is the leader of the entire world. It's the hope of the world. Nihility Piao Ling said lightly, My master passed the Yin sect leader to me. I tried my best to support her and finally saved the world. I passed the Yin sect leader to Bingling. She saved the Yin sect by herself. However, she was poisoned by an evil spirit. Therefore, the Yin sect's bloodline might be broken. There might be no more Yin sect in the world. No, there's still you in this world. As long as you're here, the Yin sect will be here. There's still hope for the world. Yang Dingtian said, As long as you're here, you can definitely save the world. Nihility Piao Ling's jade-like hand gently touched Yang Dingtian's head and said softly, Yang Dingtian, you once pretended to be the Yin sect's disciple, nameless. Now, you don't have to pretend anymore. I officially pass the Yin sect leader to you. From today onwards, you're Nihility Wuming, the new Yin sect leader, the leader of the Tiando League. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian was completely shocked. You're tuning into the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.